Crypto Kids, welcome back to another live stream. And today, hopefully, fingers crossed, today is going to be the day where the Bitcoin spot ETFs are going to be approved. It looks very good this time. I know last time was a bit of a rug pull, but we'll be covering what exactly happened in the past 24 hours. What are our expectations? I mean, is it going to be approved in the next half an hour or in the next 1 hour, 2 hours? We do have a time frame, so I will be sharing this with you. But guys, welcome. Let me know in the chat section, where are you actually joining this stream from? It would be very cool to know. And guys, I know it is super late. I don't know where you are joining from, but here it is almost 12 a.m. And last night, I only got like 3 hours of sleep. I am willing to get the same amount of sleep today too, because this has been something that everyone has been waiting for the past, I don't know, ever since crypto was a thing. Everybody was waiting for the moment where institutional investment was going to flow into Bitcoin, and we would actually get institutional adoption where billions and billions and billions of dollars would go and flow into Bitcoin. So there is some breaking news. We are going to be jumping into all of that. Do make sure to let me know if the audio is fine, if the video is fine, and if that's the case, we can jump into everything straight away. So let's go into the Bitcoin price first and see what the Bitcoin price is doing. I'm going to be I'm planning on keeping the stream until we see the approvals and actual trading of the ETFs in the market, and do make sure to stick around until we do see that. And Bitcoin, it may by the end of the stream be trading at like $50,000. Or we may be at $38,000, and time is just going to tell. But we can see that we have viewers from India, we have viewers from France, we have Poland, Nigeria, Paraguay, South Africa. Guys, you are absolutely amazing. Jordan, Belgium, thank you so much for watching the stream. Today is going to be absolutely fantastic. Now, in terms of the Bitcoin price, we've been having some pretty crazy volatility these past couple of hours. I mean, it has been a little off the charts. We can see here that Bitcoin, we saw a massive reversal, and then we even dumped to $44,000 just a couple of hours ago on today's candle, and now we're back to 46.2K. Now, there's been a lot of news circulating, and that's why we are having a very volatile time. This is something that we've been expecting on the channel. We've been discussing that Bitcoin is most likely going to have a very volatile time period these this upcoming week overall and going into January. And it's, in my opinion, not a good time to be trading. Of course, nothing this stream or video is financial advice, but it is, in my opinion, a time to be just observing the market and kind of seeing what happens, because, you know, in my perspective, right, it's very hard to call, no matter what anyone says, which direction the market will actually decide to flow into. I think that the bulls are going to be stronger than the bears in the very short term. Yes, an immediate correction to the downside is possible after we see that small push, that small move back, maybe back to the $50,000 area would be very, very nice psychological resistance, as it also collides with the golden pocket on the Fibonacci that I'll also get into later on in the stream. But $50,000, $48,500 would be perfect, and we could see a short-term reversal, at which point I am looking to be buying Bitcoin cheaper, as in a macro bullish trend. I never like to short Bitcoin, rather buy Bitcoin instead. So this is the kind of update with what's happening, what's been happening with the Bitcoin TA. We can see over here we had an incredible volatile candle that spiked all the way down to 41K over on Bitflex after we saw the kind of scandalous scenario with the tweeting that's been going on yesterday, and it was a massive rug. I mean, we were so excited. They got us in the first half, but in the second half, it was kind of all doom and gloom. But hey, it is what it is. This is crypto, and crypto is wild, and it is yet again another very wild week in crypto. We can see on the 15-minute chart and go back to how this candle formed. This was kind of the place where we got the tweet from the SEC that the Bitcoin ETFs were approved from their side, and everybody got excited. We pumped all the way up to $48,000. And just a couple of minutes after, Gary Gensler tweeted that this was actually fake, and their Twitter has been compromised, and Bitcoin fell down to $44,000. And I guess that wick is actually an error on the chart. So we fell down to $44,000. And since then, Bitcoin has been consolidating. But it is a very very interesting situation. I mean, the media has been blaming Twitter, right? So if you go to all of these articles, there are many, many examples of this. They're actually, mainstream media is blaming Twitter, saying that there are security risks at X. And no, this is not the situation. It was nothing from X's side. It was actually the fact that the SEC, funnily enough, didn't have two-factor authentication on their Twitter account, and somebody must have maybe possibly compromised the account details and logged into it, maybe tweeted it out earlier than what it should have been, but there is an internal investigation going on, and hopefully in the upcoming days we can get the latest news on what actually went down and why this happened. But it was a pretty crazy event. After 3 minutes from the live stream we had yesterday, we were like, no. It was like Cointelegraph all over again, but at a 500 times scale, because this was the official SEC account. But that is kind of the update with what's been happening yesterday if you did miss the stream. And if we go back into the chart, we are seeing Bitcoin having a very volatile candle today. And of course, yesterday's candle was not too bad itself at all. But I'm just trying to find something. If I can find it, I will switch into that as soon as I can, because there has been other updates. And this was a very funny tweet. So if we go back into the browser, we can see that the SEC actually posted this back in, it looks like, the 17th of the 10th last year. So careful what you read on the internet. The best source of information about the SEC is the SEC. But I'll just leave that there. That's not been the case. And it is very unfortunate. I mean, a lot of investors got liquidated, and a lot of traders got liquidated. But hopefully, if we can just see the ETFs arrive today and we finally see trading on the markets, it would be incredible. And if Bitcoin goes higher in terms of price, that would just be an added bonus. But ladies and gents, thank you so much for tuning in. Let's get this stream to over 200 likes. That would be amazing. We have viewers tuning in from Bulgaria, from Czechia, from the United Arab Emirates. We have Sweden, Estonia. We have Switzerland, South Korea. Wow, we have an incredibly diverse community. Holland, Saudi Arabia, guys, welcome. Los Angeles, the United Kingdom, guys, welcome. I hope you enjoyed today's stream. It is going to be a massive day. This is something that we've been expecting for months and months and months, and finally today is that day. We have arrived on the deadline for the 19B4 amendments to be approved. That is at least what we can say is going to happen. The S1s may not come in, but we are hoping that after we see the 19B4s, the S1s can come shortly after, and that the Bitcoin spot ETFs can be trading. So we do have some new breaking news. That was kind of like an overview of what's happened yesterday. For those of you that missed the stream, there has been a lot, right? And this is probably one of the most bullish news that we've been seeing these past couple of minutes. And it is the fact that the Fidelity retail trading app is showing the Bitcoin spot ETFs on its platform. So we can see here that on the Fidelity app itself, you can see the Bitcoin spot ETFs being tradable. The question is, can you actually purchase them? I'm not too sure about that, but it is without a doubt on the Fidelity exchange, and it's on Swissquote too. So Swissquote and Fidelity have listed some of these spot ETFs, and that is pretty bullish. Now, if you guys do have a Fidelity account over in the United States, do let me know if you can see this, or if you have a Swissquote account, and we can verify it with the CryptoKit squad, of course, on this live stream, and see if this is actually true. But if this is the case, then we are minutes away from the actual Bitcoin spot ETF approval, and things can go very, very interestingly. Now, the actual deadline for when it's going to happen is approximately within 1 to 3 hours. So James Seyffart, one of the Bloomberg brothers, as they call them now, he's been expecting the deadline to be between 1, so after the New York Stock Exchange closes, which is at 4 p.m., and within Dubai time, that's at 1 a.m., and that's in 1 hour approximately. So from 1 to 3 a.m. is the deadline that we have, that the 19B4s will be passed on, and shortly after, if we can see the S1 approvals, that would be incredibly bullish, and we could see the ETFs trading within just a matter of hours, and finally see what happens to Bitcoin, how it's going to react. But I'll get into the price action in just a couple of minutes. So after we had the fake tweet from the SEC's Twitter account, we saw an investigation in their personal account, and the mainstream media was blaming X. However, it turns out that it was not Axe's fault, rather the fact that they actually did not enable two-factor authentication, they basically encourage all users to enable this extra layer of security so that you can be protected from any potential hacks. But that's it with the SEC tweets. We're now seeing that there's a lot of stuff going on, and honestly, I'm just going to go to notifications and kind of scroll through the latest news, because there's just so much going on. Every single minute now there's some sort of breaking news, and I've kind of quit sharing it on my personal Twitter. I'm now going over what everybody else is saying. We need to be very careful on who we listen to. There are only a few people in the space that are actually sharing legitimate news, and I would be very careful with who I follow and whose word I take. Eric Balchunas is one of them. Another one is James Seyfarth. When these two guys put a tweet saying that breaking Bitcoin spot ETF is approved, then I'm going to be like, okay, it is done. But until they say that, we are still not in a stage where the Bitcoin spot ETFs are approved. The CBOEs, right? This is still not an approval. This is saying that people are saying that on Thursday, January 11th, which is in now 4 minutes, we should be seeing the first date of trading from the CBOE, but it looks like this is not actually an approval. This is what many sources have been saying, many reputable sources. We still need the S1s to be confirmed by the SEC before we can see these ETFs trading, but it just does look like we're super close, and it's like the final meter in the 10-kilometer race. If we can just get past this, it's going to be approved, and we're going to be seeing the ETFs on the market. But in terms of which CBOE, so there's different exchanges, right? So there's different exchanges that the ETFs will be listing on, and I shared a tweet about this just a couple of hours ago. So we can see here that the Bitcoin spot ETFs are inching closer to being approved today. The following have been cleared for launch by the CBOE and are only waiting for the final go-ahead by the SEC. Fidelity, Franklin Templeton, Van Eck, ARK21 shares, and Invesco Galaxy are all go for launch if the SEC just gives them the thumbs up tomorrow on the CBOE exchange, and that will be kind of the first push of the spot Bitcoin ETFs onto the market. But I'm just very interested to see what's going to happen with the NASDAQ ones and the New York Stock Exchange ones. We still have BlackRock, Valkyrie, Bitwise, Grayscale. Hashdex is not going to happen, it looks like. Hashdex may come in later, including Grayscale. That may also end up coming later. But BlackRock, Valkyrie, and Bitwise, they're on NASDAQ and the New York Stock Exchange, which we've not heard from so far. If we see the go-ahead from the SEC all in one shot, then all of these ETFs will be approved in one shot. But time will tell. Time will tell, and we're just going to be looking through Twitter, scrolling, and seeing what the latest news are. But yeah, it's just looking very interesting. And by the way, it looks like the FBI is now investigating what happened yesterday with the SEC's tweet, and hopefully we get a conclusion soon, and we can see what happens there. But there's just too much to go through. There's so much. There's too many amount of breaking news, and new breaking news every single second. We can also see that the all 9 new ETFs with their DES pages being listed on the Bloomberg terminal. That's also very bullish. And we're just minutes away, maybe not even minutes, but we can at least say that within the next hour or 3 hours overall, we will hopefully be seeing the approvals of these ETFs and them trading on the markets. I'll jump into the breaking news in just a couple of minutes. We'll get back into that, but I want to see what's happening with the Bitcoin price action. So we're currently trading at $46,450, and we have 1,300 viewers in this live stream. Ladies and gents, thank you so much for tuning in. If we can smash up the like button to 300 likes, that would be absolutely mind-blowing. Welcome. I think you guys are coming from Carl's live stream. I think Carl may be stream sniping me. If that's the case, thank you, Carl. We just hit an all-time high of viewers on this live stream. You guys are absolutely amazing. Hello from the Moon Show. Guys, we're getting stream sniped. We're getting rated by Carl. Thank you. It's very much appreciated. That's awesome. But Bitcoin is trading at $46,500. We're at a very critical level of resistance. We can see that Bitcoin... Welcome, guys. Welcome. That is incredible. 1,400 viewers, and it's crazy because within just 1 to 3 hours, we're going to be seeing these ETFs. The chat is absolutely flooding. It is absolutely going crazy, and Bitcoin is also going to go absolutely crazy within this time frame. As we're gonna hopefully be breaking out of this $46,900 level on the chart that we took profits on from our long trade just 2 days ago. The chat is getting absolutely flooded, and if we can break above this level, then Bitcoin can come up to the $48,500 mark, which is the 61.8 on the Fibonacci, and then the 65 on the golden pocket. And if I quickly switch over to the current trade that we have, that we were able to get in at $40,570, it is still currently in 211% profits after the fact that we took 182 USDT from this trade at $46,900, and this was a very cool entry that we were able to catch with Bitcoin falling just a couple of days ago and kind of clearing out the funding rates. I think it was this drop. Now this is the 15-minute drop time frame. If we go to the weekly, we can see in the last week's candle we were able to almost time the exact bottom and enter into a long trade. In terms of what I'm planning to do with this, I'm not planning on entering into new positions. This trade has a stop loss over break even, and depending on how the markets react to the ETF approvals, we're going to be taking action from there with you guys live on the stream. And I am planning on keeping the stream until we see the ETF approvals. So no matter how long it takes, we're going to be staying here and just taking it in as we see the breaking news unfold. But a very, very cool fact is that I started my YouTube journey back in 2021 December. This was the first video that I posted, and after over 2 years now, Bitcoin is back to the $47,000 level, and that was the time when I first started making videos. And funnily enough, we actually predicted that massive drop towards the downside. So if it interests you, you can go back in time and watch the first video I posted. It was just me screen recording on my iPad that I used to play Minecraft on, but we've definitely come a long way since then. Now, the Bitcoin halving is also in 102 days, by the way. This is incredibly important because after the narrative shifts from the Bitcoin spot ETFs, it's going to be going into the halving, number one, Ethereum, and the XRP spot ETFs. I want to quickly go over into the price of Ethereum, which is going through the roof. We're actually very close to seeing a breakout. And I know the price is not visible. It's because I connected this to my external monitor, but I'll just be saying the prices out loud. And guys, we hit 1,600 viewers on this live stream. Let's get the likes to 500 likes. That would be very, very much appreciated. And then I will get to all of your comments. You can let me know in the chat which altcoins you want me to be going through. I will be making a video with Altcoin Daily very shortly as well, going through some of my top altcoin picks, similar to what I did with DaVinci just a couple of weeks ago. But Ethereum is breaking out very nicely. Now, if you've been watching the channel for a while, you know that I've also been talking about the alternate chart pattern, which is the ascending triangle. And I mentioned that following a retest to this line of resistance, once again, it could be a very interesting place to be opening a long position, because our target for Ethereum is actually the price of $33,500 US dollars. So right over there. And I think it's definitely possible. You guys know in every single Bitcoin cycle, capital first flows into Bitcoin, then we see the capital flowing into Ethereum, and finally into altcoins. And following a successful retest onto this line of resistance, we were anticipating a trade. Actually, I don't know if my long position trade is still here. I guess we can't see it here anymore. But if you did decide to take that trade, that would have been very, very profitable. Massive, massive congrats to all of you. Yeah, it was a beautiful retest back to this line of resistance. And I think that $3,500 for Ethereum is definitely possible after we see the Ethereum spot ETFs. Now, going into XRP, let's see how XRP is reacting to the markets. And by the way, I was in the Bloomberg live stream and Kathy Wood mentioned regarding they asked her, what do you think about the Ethereum spot ETFs and the XRP spot ETF? Is it going to be coming? And she said that the SEC is going to monitor how Bitcoin will react as a price after the ETF approvals. And if they think that it's safe for investors, then the Ethereum spot ETF and the XRP spot ETF can come around very shortly. Now, it looks like XRP is not reacting in a similar way that Ethereum is reacting to this news. But honestly, I think that XRP can absolutely skyrocket in price back to the all-time high and even reach $2 this time if we see the XRP spot ETF get approved. And that's why I'm very bullish on Bitcoin, Ethereum, and XRP. But ladies and gents, I am looking into buying Bitcoin at all the levels possible. I was actually debating with myself if I should go all into Bitcoin with my entire portfolio, and that is something that I will hopefully be doing if Bitcoin sees a corrective move towards the downside following the ETF approval launch. It is very much possible that Bitcoin can correct to the $38,000 level. If that doesn't hold, then $34,000 is possible since we have 4.5 billion in liquidity there. I don't think that's the most likely scenario. I think 38K would be a very good level of support, and that's why I do have a limit long order over at $37,950 if Bitcoin decides to see a wick towards the downside. But I do want to check the breaking news updates and see what is happening. Like I mentioned, every single second, Bitcoin is having another update. And if you guys are, by the way, looking for a place to be trading crypto and Bitcoin, which is also a cryptocurrency, you can head over to the description of this live stream. It's in the pinned comment in the chat section too to sign up to BitFlex, and you can get up to $88,888 worth in prizes and bonuses. I also have a full video demonstrating on how to use a cryptocurrency exchange, perfect for beginners, and how you can claim the 68K in rewards on BitFlex too. So I would definitely recommend checking that out. Let's go over into, so this was crazy, right? So we saw the Fidelity Investments trading platform and Swissquote list these Van Eck 21 shares ETFs, but it doesn't look like they're tradable right now. That's kind of the rumor that we're seeing. It doesn't look like they're tradable on the market. It's not actually possible to buy these ETFs from the market, but they are on the Bloomberg terminal and they're on various other exchanges, which is incredibly bullish from my perspective, but still no approval. Guys, do not be confused. We still do not have an approval on these ETFs. We do need to wait until James and Eric Balchunas both say breaking, the ETFs are approved and are on the market. And once we see that, we may see a massive surge in the Bitcoin price. So make sure to stay tuned on this live stream until we get that, because I am not going to be ending this live until we see the ETF approval news. I don't care if that's going to be in, that may be in 3 hours, but I'm going to be sticking around here with you guys to just see what happens to the market and how we react. But just scrolling through, I mean, there's just something new every single minute. I guess the latest news was that the fact that Fidelity listed them, but so far, so good. We can check Watcher Guru as well. Then we'll go into James and Eric's both Twitter accounts, and we can go through them too. But I do have a lot of stuff lined up for you. I just want to make sure that we get the breaking news out of the way, and then we can focus on the other content. So everybody's saying something that the Fox Business is saying that after the New York Stock Exchange closed at 4 p.m. today, which is in approximately 53 minutes, we may be seeing the approvals. And I think that this is the most likely scenario, as James Seyfarth has also said it. At 1 a.m. GMT plus 4 time, we'll have a window of 2 hours. And within this 2-hour window, we'll most likely get the approvals. Hopefully, fingers crossed. If something bad doesn't happen, we do need to get the S1 filings out of the way. The 19B4s are going to be approved today. That has to happen, right? That has to happen. There's like a 95% chance that they do get approved, and then the S1s are all reliant on the SEC. And if the SEC can give them the thumbs up, then we will be seeing the ETFs on the market tradable. But this was super funny. So the JP Morgan CEO said that Bitcoin is no value yet again, and he's saying that it's not a good asset to be used, and it basically has no positive use cases. But we also know that they're actually one of the APs for a lot of the ETFs, and AP being a liquidity provider to a bunch of these Bitcoin ETFs, and that's a little bit ironic in my opinion. And it's just not the best. Bitcoin is still sitting at $46,200. I'm now going to be going through your chats and we can go through some of your favorite altcoins, and we can cover some more stuff that I have lined up for you. But right now there's 1,800 people watching the stream. Guys, make sure to destroy that like button. We are literally one like away from 500 likes, and it would be incredible if we can reach that point. We are at an all-time high on the channel. Ladies and gents, I love you all so much. It's I did not expect this to happen. Really, I only have like 3 hours of sleep in me in the last 24 hours, but it is definitely paying off. And wow, the chat is absolutely exploding. We do have 2 super chats. Wow, we have a super chat from the moon himself. Thank you very much, dude. And we also, I'm 17. Okay, so let me answer this very quickly. Dude, if you're 17, right, I'm 16, I would definitely just focus on educating myself as much as possible, and really just educate yourself this cycle. And I think Bitcoin is a better option from my perspective. If you just keep on scaling into Bitcoin, and once you have these opportunities on smaller altcoins, then you can scale that money back into Bitcoin. And I think that's the way to create generational wealth. But let's switch back into the price of Bitcoin and see the kind of price action here. If we jump into smaller time frames, we can see, look at that, there's massive volatility. And there's just a massive indecision between buyers and sellers, the bulls and bears, on which direction the price is going to go. So we may see yet again another retest to this previous line of resistance that we had of this massive ascending triangle that we eventually broke out from, which was fantastic. But Bitcoin is going to go crazy these next 2-3 hours, and I can't wait to see which way that's going to end up going. And guys, we smashed 600 likes. This is an all-time high record for the channel, and honestly, I am absolutely speechless. Thank you all so much for tuning in. But hey, look, let's go back into the breaking news, because we want to be first to cover what is going on and what is real or what is not. Again, as I said, 2 people are very important to follow, and that is including James Seyfarth and Eric Balkunas. Now, this guy is also pretty important to follow. So this, we covered the CBOE. Everybody's just talking about the CBOE, and now we're just waiting until the approvals come in for the next 1 to 2 hours. Now, there are some important stuff that I want to go through. CPI is coming in tomorrow. So we're going to have the CPI data, which is the inflation metric in the United States, and that will be taking place in approximately 24 hours, 25 hours. That should give us an indication on what's going to be happening with the interest rates. And if we do have the inflation going towards the downside, focusing more on the core inflation rate, which excludes volatile assets such as energy, housing, etc., that should give us a bullish indication on the interest rates. And if the interest rates go down, then that could mean that the price of Bitcoin can increase simultaneously, as people will be less incentivized to put their money in the bank to collect their interest. So they'll be taking their money out and putting it into fresh new assets that they have available in their brokerage accounts in BlackRock, Fidelity, etc., and may as well just shift that into the Bitcoin spot ETFs. But I can't tell you enough how bullish this is. So I've also had comments on what is an ETF. And it's normal, right? Not many people know about this. You and me know about it, but everybody else, even in the crypto space, still are confused of what an ETF is and why it's actually so important for the markets. Now, the reason why this ETF is so important is because it unlocks billions and billions of dollars worth of institutional capital. Now, the predictions for what's going to happen with these ETFs on the first day of launch are, in my opinion, absolutely bonkers. And wow, Bitcoin is seeing a rejection. So let's jump back into the chart and we can continue our discussion there. So people are expecting like a total of $50 billion or $100 billion worth of assets flowing into Bitcoin ETFs, but this is not true. This is too ambitious of a target. And if we keep on having these ambitious targets, and if we don't end up reaching them, then what happens is there's more room for disappointment in the space, and this disappointment could lead to a further correction towards the downside. So it's very important to minimize our ambitious targets and focus on the big picture. In the macro landscape in the upcoming years, there's going to be massive demand for the Bitcoin spot ETFs, and then Bitcoin is an asset itself from, number one, the Bitcoin ETF issuers that need to keep on accumulating more of the underlying asset as more volume comes in. So the ETF issuers that are going to be accumulating, we're going to be seeing retail investors jumping back into the space as the total search trends for the cryptocurrencies globally have gone up. Yesterday, in fact, Bitcoin was the 18th most searched term in the United States. In Singapore, it was third. In Germany, it was third. In Netherlands, I think it was in the 6th or 7th place. So people are more interested in crypto once again. And once we see the retail investors come back in, that's a point where we're just going to be entering into a super cycle. And speaking of a super cycle, I think that $1 million Bitcoin is eventually very much possible. And I've been getting comments, well, how is that going to reach a reality? Because the market cap has to be in the tens of trillions of dollars. Well, you see, the United States have a total national debt of $34 trillion. They hit an all-time high last month, and now it's keep on going up, of course. And they almost defaulted on their debt back in June of last year, and they kind of increased it to a TBA sum in January 2025. And eventually, they're going to be paying so much in their interest that they're already spending more than they do on their military budget per year. It's not going to be viable and sustainable enough for them to be paying this loan back. They're going to have to print more money. Inflation is going to go up. Their money is going to devalue. And I think that once you trade Bitcoin against the USD, against the United States dollar, if the USD starts losing its value, then Bitcoin will just go up regardless. And now that Bitcoin is being treated as a commodity rather than being treated as a tech stock, I think that Bitcoin will be the option and the alternative that everybody chooses as a hedge against inflation. And all of these factors combined can take Bitcoin to that $1 million target in the upcoming 10 to 15 years. And that's why I am planning on going all into Bitcoin in these upcoming days if Bitcoin does see a rejection towards the downside. But in all honesty, any Bitcoin under $100,000 is cheap Bitcoin from my personal view. And I am already DCing into Bitcoin in a daily basis, but I just want to shift my entire portfolio back into Bitcoin. But there are some interesting factors we got to go over too. Now that we're seeing the retail FOMO kick back in, I know in the macro landscape I'm very bullish, but people asking me now, like when I go to school, they ask me, well, dude, is it a good time to be buying Bitcoin now? Should I accumulate Bitcoin? Should I put all my portfolio back into Bitcoin because I exited it back in the last bull market? So what should I do? And now that I'm seeing these questions get asked by my family members, by my close relatives, that's also a sign in the market that maybe it's the time to be taking profits from positions. So if you hold spot and you believe in Bitcoin in the long term, then there's nothing wrong with that. But if you are leverage trading, from my personal perspective, it may be a good idea to start de-risking some positions. And this is a target. This is our $10,000 trading portfolio that we started just a couple of months back here on Bitflex. And this is a position we opened at 40.5K, and we already took some profits. We took about 45% profits, and I'm just gonna let it ride because the stop loss is at break even. But if Bitcoin continues surging, then we'll aim to take some more profit at the 50K range, and then we'll look into where we can open a position once again. But guys, the views are exploding. If we can get this stream to over 750 likes, that would be incredible. That would be breaking all sorts of records that we've kind of set on this channel, and it would just be mind-blowing. God, it's incredible. I'm super grateful to each and every one of you. But we are going to be jumping into back into the breaking news because it looks like there is something going on that is breaking this volatility. And look at this candle. Wow, it's crazy. I can't imagine. I can't imagine the amount of traders getting liquidated right now. But it is a very crazy volatile time. It is something that we expected. Of course, volatility is good for traders. However, in the immediate short term, in such news events like this, it may be a good time to just sit down and see what's going to happen in the market. But now I'm just going through different posts on Twitter. There is a lot of irrelevant stuff that is not correct, so I'm kind of filtering through those right now. But I do definitely recommend going to the description below and following me on Twitter too, because sometimes I can't make these breaking news updates on YouTube immediately after, but yeah, on Twitter, it's way easier. Let's switch back into the Brave browser, and we can see here that the SEC decision, again, it's the same kind of stuff. It's expected to be made in the upcoming hours. In approximately 42 minutes is the first window start of when the Bitcoin ETFs can be approved. So the New York Stock Exchange closes at 4 p.m. New York time, and in Dubai time, that is 1 a.m. So James Safeheart, Eric Balchunas, they've been expecting 1 a.m. to 3 a.m., and that time period starts in 42 minutes, and we are not going anywhere, ladies and gents, until we see these Bitcoin ETFs get approved. And this was the live stream that I was in with Bloomberg, and it was a very interesting one. Kathy Wood mentioned some pretty interesting points. They are very bullish on the ETFs overall. We can see the fee rate, right? The fees are still in massive competition zones. We've come down to the 20 to 25 basis point area. And why is this bullish? People are saying, why is this bullish? Well, it's bullish because for the past, you can see that on the BlackRock Gold ETF, the fee for the BlackRock Gold ETF, the famous GLD ETF, is at 0.4%, so 40 basis points. And we're now at half the price, half the fee price for the Bitcoin ETFs. Meaning, in the short term, ETF issuers are okay with potentially making some losses in exchange to make massive gains in the long run, because they do believe in the long run the Bitcoin ETFs are going to be very, very, very much profitable, and that they're going to be seeing massive inflows. So I think this is just an incredible indication of how much assets are going to be flowing into Bitcoin as an ETF overall, and we've broken correlation with the S&P 500, with the NASDAQ, and we're being treated as a commodity. And I think Bitcoin is going to be the #1 hedge against inflation, and I'm just super excited to see that happening and us eventually taking over gold. But wow, what a day it's been so far. Honestly, it's just been full-time researching, full-time going over what's happening, but it looks like everybody's just waiting for this deadline to come about. We're not seeing anything new coming around in the news. This CBOE is a little bit old, but let's go into James Seyfarth and see what he's saying. What is the latest stuff that he's been tweeting out? But there's still no approval. Make no mistake, there's still no approval in the market. The 9 ETFs with the DES pages have been listed on the Bloomberg terminal. We're seeing listings on the Fidelity retail trading application. We're seeing it being listed on Swissquote too. These are all very, very bullish indications, but without seeing the S1 approvals, we are not going anywhere. And just to mention, what is the difference between a 19B4 and an S1? And then I'll jump into your comments. So a 19B4 is a requirement made by the exchanges like the CBOE or the NASDAQ or the New York Stock Exchange, and this has to be cleared through them first. Now, once they're clearing it, they do need the SEC to make in comments and suggestions on what to change, and this is kind of explaining what this CBOE stuff is about. So we've been seeing the approval from their side. They're ready to go. We just need the SEC to give the thumbs up, and we can start trading, and that should be anticipated very, very soon, as today is the deadline. And very, very happy deadline day to every one of you watching this video right now. Make sure to subscribe, turn on the notification bell, and leave a like. Destroy that like button. Let's subscribe, because I do daily technical analysis on this channel, breaking crypto updates, no matter the time, no matter the fact that if I'm in a lesson or not, I do make the time to deliver these updates to you guys. And I do very, very much appreciate it when you smash up the like button, when you engage with the videos, because it gives me a lot of motivation. It's not easy being 16, and just, it gets lonely sometimes, and I'm just super happy that you guys enjoy the content. But I want to go over to your super chats. So I do want to claim my Bitflex points, by the way, because I keep on forgetting this. I'm going to check in and claim the Bitflex points because this is something that I should be doing every single day, but I forget to do it. And this is the exchange that I'm using, by the way, for all of my trading. And if you guys are looking for a place to be trading Bitcoin or cryptocurrencies, which is also a cryptocurrency, you can head over to the description of today's video and sign up to Bitflex using this link. It takes about 20 seconds, and you can get up to $88,888 worth in prizes and bonuses. And I have a video explaining exactly how to do that just in the bottom link section, and it's super easy to do it. Actually, you go to the Bitflex shop and you can claim some pretty cool rewards. Maybe I'll get into that later on in today's video, but definitely check it out. I'm super happy with it so far, but yeah, and going through your comments right now, can we take a look at, so okay, you do have some altcoins. We have 1,065 comments, so it is going to be very difficult to go through it. CryptoKids, you are absolutely mind-blowing. I appreciate all of your support, but let me give, people are saying the ETF is approved, but the ETF is not approved until we see from James Seyfarth and from Eric Balchunas that they're saying that breaking ETFs are approved. We are not going anywhere. But look, it's going to be approved very, very soon now. There's a time frame of about 47 minutes, sorry, not 47 minutes, even less, 37 minutes. And by that time, hopefully we'll be going into the first deadline, kind of into that duration of time, the 2-hour duration of time, where we may be seeing the ETFs coming up. And once it does, the Bitcoin price will have an explosive move. But there are some things that we need to be on the lookout for. For example, on the weekly time frame, we can see that the MRI is firing a sell. Now, what is the MRI, and what does it mean that we're having a second top here? So the MRI, shout out to Tone Vase, one of my mentors in technical analysis, first person I learned TA from. This is his indicator, which is derived from the TD sequential. we can see that this is actually an analysis of momentum and how strong the momentum is. Now, we've had two tops on Bitcoin on the weekly time frame. And remember, the further that we go out, the more macro charts that we look into, charts, oscillators, indicators, they are way, way more accurate in their predictions and in terms of their, their signals, right? So we can add the CMF here also. CMF, stochastic, these are two oscillators that I really, really like looking into for Bitcoin, especially because I really do think that they're highly, highly accurate. Now over here, Bitcoin is having a second MRI top, and we are looking like we're forming a shooting star candle. Of course, there's still 4 days and 4 hours for this week's candle to be closed. If we see this candle closing like we are right now, then it is possible to expect a small drop towards the downside. $40,000 is important, $38,000 is important. Then we have 34K where we have 4.5 billion in liquidity, but all of those levels we should be looking out for. I'm not shorting Bitcoin. I'm only planning on Bitcoin, buying Bitcoin for cheaper prices if Bitcoin ever does decide to see a drop towards the downside. But guys, there's incredible volatility. Do watch out. It is getting pretty hectic here. Bitcoin is having $1,000 price swings every minute or so, and just be careful if you are leverage trading at the moment. It is something that I would be very risk managed about, and just look into just waiting and seeing what happens. That may be a good idea, but of course nothing in this stream is financial advice. Always do your own TA and come to your own conclusions. Super important to be independent, but by watching these videos and learning TA from what I share, and basically on how to break down market analysis, you will come to your own conclusions eventually. And it's just nice to listen to other people's opinions and what they think about the markets. But Bitcoin is now trading at 45.5K. We are having incredible volatility. Let's go back into the breaking news and see if there's any updates regarding the ETFs so far. So the last update was that the CBOE is go for launching, and at the same time, I am checking everything. So let's go into the notifications and let's go into my top following and see what is going there. But we can see that no, there is nothing new. We can see that Rover, breaking on the CBOE website, 8 Bitcoin spot ETFs are now listed under the new listings and will start to trade tomorrow. This is, of course, not a sign that, yes, we've approved. There is a very, very high likeliness that the Bitcoin ETFs, yes, could start trading tomorrow, but it's all going to be reliant on what the SEC says. If they say, go ahead, then boom, it's going to start trading. But until that point, we still need to be very, very careful. But wow. I need to take a breath. That's been a very nice rant so far. And again, thank you guys so much for watching. It means the world to me that we've hit an all-time high on this channel for the live streams. And thank you, Carl, for forwarding your audience. It means a lot. But here we can see that, Eric has been tweeting a lot, James has been tweeting a lot, and there's just a lot to cover overall. We know that the ETFs are super bullish for Bitcoin in the macro perspective. It gives the institutional investors trust to be putting their money into Bitcoin. Because imagine, me and you, right? Me and you, even I, who's been, I'd say pretty involved in this space, even 24/7 in this space, I also get paranoid sometimes on keeping my money in exchanges or a cold wallet or a software wallet, etc. All these terms are already very confusing, and think of it as a very traditional investor. Someone in their 60s, in their 50s that doesn't know too much about technology. They just started using Instagram, trying to buy a Bitcoin, right, from the spot market and storing it. It's going to be very, very hard for them to do. So actually purchasing Bitcoin via a spot Bitcoin ETF from BlackRock or Fidelity or from any of these issuers are going to give them much, much more trust on actually keeping it as a custody. Because if they put their Bitcoin in BlackRock, for example, they have very, very little chance of losing that money, and it's very much risk managed, and they do have a very trustworthy custodian keeping their Bitcoin ETFs. And a lot of people have been saying, well, is this the actual, this is not, real Bitcoin. Why should anybody buy it? But a lot of institutions in their policies, they cannot actually hold anything which is not an ETF. So by doing this, we're playing in the ballpark of the institutional investors. We're giving them, the opportunity to gain exposure into Bitcoin. And if they fall in love with it, then hopefully they will go and buy Bitcoin from the spot market itself. And that is the dream. We're coming up towards the halving. We are 100 days away from the Bitcoin halving. And at this point, the total miner rewards are going to be cut in half. And currently we have about 900, 800 Bitcoin readily available on the market from the miners. And this amount is going to decrease significantly. So just think about it like this, right? So we have the ETF issuers that are hopefully, if the ETFs are successful, we're going to be seeing a lot of demand to these Bitcoin spot ETFs. So the ETF issuers will be forced to buy up more Bitcoin from the market, and them accumulating potentially billions and billions of dollars from the market is going to give us a lot of demand, a lot of buying pressure. We're seeing the total exchange outflows at massive all-time highs. Exchanges don't have Bitcoin anymore. People are buying Bitcoin and putting it into their cold wallets. We're seeing long-term holders and short-term holders for the first time in a long time buying up Bitcoin and not selling it. Now, all of these factors are incredibly bullish. We're seeing massive demand coming to Bitcoin. We're going to be seeing a supply cut, and this is going to cause, based off of fundamental economics, the price should be a lot higher from where we're sitting at right now. Yes, a 20%, 30% correction is possible. Historically speaking, Bitcoin does tend to like to have these 25 to 30% corrections coming up towards the halving. It is completely normal, and there's nothing to be scared of because it happens, right? It happens, but it's just going to give us the opportunity to be buying a Bitcoin at much, much cheaper prices. And we can see here that this is the previous cycles for Bitcoin, and we've just been going up in parabolas ever since. Yes, granted, this is a logarithmic chart, but I think that Bitcoin will very, very soon reach the all-time high. I think 6 months after the halving, so in Q3, Q4 of 2024, we can make it back to $69,000. And in Q1, Q2 of 2025, Bitcoin should be trading at the $95,000 mark. There's something to be careful of course, too. We can see back in, I can't see the date here, so that's 1st of November 2017, we had the CME launch. Now, the CME was the first ever financial instrument that enabled investors in the traditional landscape to get exposure into Bitcoin. And coming up towards the CME launch, Bitcoin increased by 220%. So if I'm not wrong, it was October 31st of 2017 where we first got the news regarding the CME group launching its futures contract on Bitcoin, I believe it is. And you can see here that we've pumped by, so this is the start of the candle, but it's in the 220% range. And following the approval, we actually topped Bitcoin at $20,000 almost and fell down by 70%. Now, there is a difference. This was after the halving. So we did hit an all-time high a year after and then saw a crash. That was the only difference, but this is pre-halving. So it's very much different. And even if we do see a correction in the macro landscape, we should be trading way, way higher than where we are at right now. There is a very critical article that has been published by Wharton and Wharton Business School. It's something that I definitely recommend reading. It was from Crypto Banter that I heard this about. And it's basically talking about the fact that the more people use a product, the more people use Bitcoin, let's say in this example, just because there's more people using the network, the price of that good should simultaneously increase towards the upside. And as more and more people adopt Bitcoin in their daily transactions, as more and more countries put Bitcoin in their national treasuries, as more third world countries devalue their currencies, right, there is going to be a massive shift into Bitcoin to be used in exchange for their current currencies, right, in these third world countries. And we're seeing in, I think it was Paraguay, or it was a country in Honduras. In Honduras, they made Bitcoin a legal tender for paying taxes and all these things. So eventually, Bitcoin is going to have this massive adoption, and it's going to take us into a super cycle. And this super cycle is going to be broken at $95,000. We need to zoom out into the 12-month chart. We can see that there is a massive logarithmic curve for Bitcoin. If we break this 95K level, I think it's very much possible, right, that following some external events, such as a devaluation in the US dollar currency, Bitcoin, when traded against the US dollar, can have a significant increase. Now, also keep in mind, massive stocks like Apple, Microsoft, etc., silver, gold, their market capitalizations will also increase. Right? They will also go up, but Bitcoins will too, and we'll see Bitcoin way higher than where we are from my standpoint. And I'm just super excited to see what happens going into next year. And I'm super lucky that I came across this space at just 12 years old, and I've been doing this for 4 years now. Now I'm 16, and I just really, really do hope so that eventually Bitcoin is going to be the asset that people choose to put their money into to hedge their inflation, hedge against inflation. And eventually 1 Bitcoin is going to equal 1 Bitcoin, and everything is going to be measured in Satoshis. And I can't wait for that day. But just a quick water break here. So what is an ETF? This is a good question. I want to cover what an ETF is very quickly while we go through, while I scroll through and check if there's any breaking news. So an ETF is an exchange traded fund that enables institutional investors to get an allocation into certain assets. So if it's a spot ETF, then the ETF itself holds the underlying asset, in which case it holds Bitcoin, right? So the ETF issuer, like BlackRock, for example, they would have to buy up Bitcoin, and they track the price of Bitcoin based off of which exchange they're tracking the price on. So many of the ETFs are right now tracking it on Coinbase. So whatever the spot price of Bitcoin is on Coinbase, the ETF is going to come as close to it as possible, right? So when an institutional investor wants to buy a Bitcoin, because it's super complicated to do it via spot, and because of a lot of policies and regulations, etc., they will go to the ETF issuer, they will buy the ETF from there, and the ETF issuer will keep the ETF in custody for them with very little risk, store it for them, manage it, and basically you get to own Bitcoin with very little risk of, if you're gonna lose your funds in an exchange account or etc. So it's a very nice way for traditional investors to gain exposure to an asset class. And we know, historically speaking, when gold got its first BlackRock ETF in 2004, the price of gold rallied like crazy. And given, yes, there was a lot of inflation going into the next couple of years, which impacted the price of gold, but the BlackRock ETF enabled us to go way, way higher. So we do have more super chats, and let me get to them first of all, and then we can go into some of the more breaking news. So ETF news to be released after the stock market close. Exactly. The expectation for when we're going to be seeing the ETF approvals is going to be at 1 a.m. GMT plus 4 time or 4 p.m. New York time. We can see that the latest update with James Seyfarth, who's one of the Bloomberg brothers that everybody on Twitter is following, his expectation is that when we see the stock market close at 1 a.m. GMT plus 4 time, 4 p.m. New York time, that is going to be a window from 1 a.m. to 3 a.m. where the Bitcoin spot ETFs can be approved. We're in the final minutes now. It is in the final minutes. And if we see the go-ahead from the SEC, the CBOE, all of the ETFs that are registered under the CBOE is going to be approved, and we can start seeing them trading. Massive shout out to everybody watching from Twitter, by the way. Thank you all very, very much. We just hit 3,000 live viewers on this live stream. You guys are absolutely incredible. If you can smash up the like button to over 1,000 likes, that will be a brand new record. And tomorrow when I go to school, I can walk in head up straight and very proud of myself. But thank you, love you all. Make sure to subscribe, turn on the notification bell, and leave a like so you do not miss on any updates that I post in the upcoming days about Bitcoin technical analysis, and breaking news. It's been a massive past 10 months for us. We hit 30,000 subscribers, and I'm just speechless. I'm super speechless, super grateful to each and every one of you. But yeah, it's been crazy. So going over into this tweet, I wanted to share this tweet. We can see that I shared this just a couple of hours ago, so like 3-4 hours ago. The total amount of ETFs on CBOE are Fidelity, Franklin Templeton, Van Eck, ARK21 shares, and Invesco Galaxy. These do not include BlackRock, Valkyrie, Bitwise, Grayscale, and Hashdex. They're on a different exchange. But these are all listed on CBOE, and CBOE has already given the go-ahead. So these ETFs will probably be the first ones to land in the market. Fidelity is expected to gain the largest market share because after their most recent updates to their fees, I believe that Fidelity is ahead in the fee race. And yeah, these should be going ahead in the next, hopefully 23 minutes would be the ideal scenario, but we just have to wait for another 23 minutes. And during that time, I will be giving you as much information as possible regarding Bitcoin, regarding Ethereum that may see an explosion very soon on its price, and of course, altcoins too. But this is what we need to be on the lookout for. Now, this is a very fun fact, actually. Did you guys know that the first ever Bitcoin ETF was submitted by the Winklevoss brothers back in 2017 or 18, but it got rejected because these guys, they're the founder of Gemini Exchange, Gemini Cryptocurrency Exchange. And they are the twins that Mark Zuckerberg stole the idea in Harvard for Facebook, right? So they are the twins that literally created Facebook, and then Mark Zuckerberg allegedly stole this from them. And they got a $75 million settlement, which they used to buy up more Bitcoin and set up Gemini Exchange. Now they're both billionaires, but they were the first attempters to actually file for a Bitcoin spot ETF, but it got rejected because they wanted to track the price of Bitcoin on Gemini, and they were the founders of Gemini, so there were risks of market manipulation. So that's why it didn't go ahead. But ever since then, it's been like, wow, it's been like many years. We're seeing the ETFs finally coming about, and hopefully 22 minutes, we should be seeing the first ETFs hitting the market, taking the price of Bitcoin to either 38K or 50K. Those are the two levels that we're watching for. But you can see the massive indecision on the markets. Bitcoin pumped to $49,000. Is this true? Is this true? Yes. Is it? Okay, so this may be an error on the chart because what I'm seeing over on Binance right now, Binance Spot, this is the perpetual contract. On Binance Spot, we can see the price of Bitcoin is currently trading at $45,900. The wick was highest. The highest point was at 48K. But if we go into BTC USDT on the perpetual contract, .p, if we go .p, this should give us the Bybit chart, and here the high was at $48,000. So no, Bitcoin has not come up to 49K, but there is incredible resistance for BTC at the, first of all, we have the first major line at the 0.618 on the Fibonacci, which is at $48,500, and the next one is at $50,264 at the Golden Pocket. Now going through, we just hit 1,000 likes, by the way, ladies and gents. You guys are absolutely crazy. Thank you so much. Again, make sure to subscribe. It would mean the world to me. And let's, in this bull market, let's smash it together. It will be awesome to go through this bull market together with you guys and try and make as much money off of the markets as possible. Let's go to Solana. We've been seeing Solana a lot in the chat, so let's go to Solana. Let's have a quick look at it. We can also see that the total crypto market cap, excluding Bitcoin, is starting to see a rally. So this is a comparison of the total crypto market cap for altcoins. And over here, back in, I believe this wasn't back in 2019, we had this massive accumulation phase for the altcoins. Now, following a breakout from this accumulation phase, the altcoin market saw a massive increase from all the way from $119 billion to the top at $1.7 trillion. And very similarly, ladies and gents, we can see that the current price action for the altcoin market cap is seeing a very similar move. We're breaking out from this accumulation zone, seeing a retest back to this box, and we could go to the new all-time high coming up after the halving, because that's usually what happens with the Bitcoin cycles. Capital flows from Bitcoin to Ethereum and then to altcoins. So right now may be a very interesting time to be DCing into some of these altcoins, and Solana could definitely be a very good pick for this. So let's bring up Solana USDT and check what the price of Solana is doing. So USD, I guess this is it. So I guess this should be the contract. But Solana, on the daily time frame, we're at $94, down from the high we made just a couple of weeks ago from the crypto airdrop frenzy that was going on at $125. But Solana, I think, is going to be a top player in the market, especially this altcoin season. So I would definitely be looking out for Solana and seeing how it performs. If you guys want to accumulate Solana, by the way, it should be available on Bitflex, and maybe I should accumulate some Solana. What do you guys think? Should I buy up some Solana from the market? Let me know. I actually don't have any Solana in my personal portfolio. I have Bitcoin, I have Ethereum, and I have Dogecoin. I'm a massive believer in Dogecoin, and there is some breaking news about Dogecoin, by the way. It is pretty funny. If I go to my Twitter account, you can see that Elon Musk did share a tweet about Dogecoin yesterday, and we can see on reposts, I should have reposted the tweet he sent. So he was kind of mocking the situation with SEC, with the SEC security hack, and there was a tweet saying that what is the password of the SEC on Twitter? Wrong answers only. And Elon is like, LFG Doge to the moon. But regardless of this, there has been news that X has gotten a money transmitter license in the state of Arkansas in the United States. And they, of course, want to make X a payment and financial services platform. So if their aim of making X a financial services platform is reached, then when you look into what are they going to use to make X a place where people can trade peer-to-peer without, the use of bank accounts? Well, the only scenario I can see happening is by using cryptocurrencies. And we know that Well, Elon has historically said that he's going to be supporting Dogecoin and cryptocurrencies no matter what happens, right? And Dogecoin in particular, actually. So I really do think that if X does become this financial services app, Dogecoin could see a lot of adoption, and we could be seeing a personally speaking a price increase in Dogecoin. And I really like it. It's proof of work, right? It's a fork of Litecoin. And when I first started my crypto journey, when I met Da Vinci, the guy who bought Bitcoin at $1, he mentioned that, dude, just mine Dogecoin. That is the biggest tip that I would give you. Ladies and gents, thank you again so much. There is apparently some breaking news. So let's jump into the breaking news and see what is going on. So this is Eleanor from Fox Business. So can the CBOE get in trouble for front running the SEC? Because we know that the assets have been, wait, wow. Is this true? Has this happened? Okay, let's see if the spot ETF got accepted. Let's hold our horses, right? Let's hold our horses. If this is the case, if Bitcoin did see the BlackRock spot ETF get accepted, then we should be seeing a massive price move on Bitcoin, but that is not what is happening. Bitcoin is sitting at $45,700. So we need to do a deep dive into this, put our investigator hats on, and in the meantime, I am watching the price of Bitcoin. So Eleanor from Fox Business is saying that can the CBOE get in trouble for front running the SEC? So we now know that ARK Invest, VanEck, their ETFs have been listed on multiple exchanges, and Eric Balchunas says this. So this is a real document and sounds scary, but it's not significant. So it looks like the CBOE jumped the gun and putting relisting announcement. No other exchanges put one out, so SEC probably got annoyed, probably wanted everyone to stand down till formal approval. If we hear anything beyond that, we will update you, but for now, just ignore. So okay, Eric Balchunas, one of the people that everybody's following for solid ETF news, has said that ignore this CBOE news because it is not relevant for this time being. The SEC may have in fact gotten annoyed by this, and because they got annoyed by this is a possibility that they could try and delay this further. But honestly, I don't think this news here is true. If that was the case, first of all, the price of Bitcoin would have been pumping like crazy, and second of all, we would have been seeing it from James Seyfarth himself, from Eric Balchunas, but that's not what's been happening. So here, yeah, there's not much updates. We're still waiting on what's going to be happening, meaning that the 15 minutes, so in 15 minutes, we should be seeing the New York Stock Exchange close, and we should be seeing some news pouring in regarding approvals. But if the SEC did get a little bit annoyed from CBOE jumping the gun, then we may see a further postponement of the ETFs getting approved. We know that they want to delay it as much as possible, and this could be a good excuse for them to do so. So going through here, James has not posted anything new. Let's check Eric and see if he's posted something that is interesting. So let's go into Eric Balchunas and see what's going on here. So he has said, and by the way, I connected with Eric over on LinkedIn, and I am trying to do my best to bring him on the show as much as possible. And it would be very nice to get Eric's take on what's going on with the ETFs, and maybe he can give us a lot of detail because he is the expert in the ETF landscape. That is his profession. But no, it looks like there is no updates. It looks like that BlackRock spot ETF did not get accepted so far. That is what we're seeing. But the 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. deadline could be interesting in New Jersey time. So let's see what happens here. That is funny. But yeah, these upcoming hours is going to be pretty volatile, and we should be having some news regarding an ETF approval. And that's what we're kind of expecting so far. So, ladies and gents, it is a very volatile day in the markets. Bitcoin is just bouncing with hundreds of dollars in the 5-minute candles, something that has not been seen in a very long time. I would be very, very careful if you guys are in leverage positions right now. It is a very volatile time. Just be careful. Make sure to risk manage well. Of course, nothing in the stream is financial advice, but from my personal experience, I do not like to trade news events. I just tend to stay away from any asset a day before, the day, and the day after. Right now, I'm keeping this position open because we did get a very good entry, and the stop loss is over break even. So we do not have any risk here in particular. But if you guys are looking for a place to be trading Bitcoin or cryptocurrencies, you can head over to the description below and check out Bitflex if you like to. It takes 20 seconds to sign up, and you can get up to $88,888 worth in prizes and bonuses if you check it out using this link here in the description of this live stream or in the pinned comment. But let's switch back over into the price of Bitcoin and let me go over your comments once again. Let's get this stream to 1,200 likes. There's now 3,200 people watching this stream. Again, a massive all-time high. If you have not subscribed to the channel already, make sure to do so. We do altcoin we do top altcoins with the biggest guys in the cryptocurrency space, daily Bitcoin technical analysis updates, and price targets for different trading setups. We do breaking news and, of course, live streams as such. So do make sure to subscribe, turn on the notification bell, leave a like on the stream. That would all be very much appreciated. And let's see what happens, right? It's going to be pretty crazy these upcoming hours for Bitcoin. We're at 1,100 likes. You guys are absolutely fantastic. But Bitcoin is at critical resistance. So if you guys haven't been watching the videos, we took profit at $46,900, which is this point here. And I know it's a bit annoying because you can't see the prices. It is because it's on my external monitor, but this should be fixed in upcoming live streams. So at $46,900, we took profit on the trade, which I mentioned over on Betflex. And the reason for this is because if we go back to March of 2022, this was the point where Bitcoin had a drop from its previous all-time high. We kind of had a relief rally here, giving the perception to investors that, hold on, this bull market is not over. We still have time in this bull market. But we came up to this $46,900 mark, and we saw an incredible rejection back towards the downside, and we dropped by 67% to all the way to $15,500. So fundamentally speaking, this level is super, super crucial, and that's why we closed some of our position at this mark. And we can see that in the first leg, or you can call the second leg if you count this as the first leg. In the second leg of the 2021 bull market, we saw a retest in Bitcoin kind of testing here. We found some support, then we found some resistance, and eventually we broke it out and went up to $69,000. That's why 46.9 is super important. And if Bitcoin can break above here, then first of all, 48.5, hold on, you can't see that. So 48.5 and then $50,200 is possible. But if Bitcoin closes this candle as a shooting star candle in the weekly time frame, then do expect a reversal back towards the downside. But guys, I need to do a small water break. Wow, that was a very nice rant. But let's go over back into Twitter and I'll check some of your comments too. I'm super bullish on XRP and Ethereum, by the way. I think that after we see the spot ETFs get approved, hopefully fingers crossed, then we should be seeing the narrative shift into the Ethereum spot ETF and the XRP spot ETF, which Cathie Wood, the founder, the CEO and CIO of ARK Invest, mentioned that the SEC kind of wants to see what's going on with the ETF, the Bitcoin ETF, and if we have a successful launch. If we do see a successful launch, then they should approve an Ethereum spot ETF very soon. Eric Balchunas and James Seyfarth also said in previous spaces and podcasts that they're just focusing on Bitcoin right now, but after this Bitcoin phase is over, they'll also shift into the Ethereum spot ETFs. But hold on, this looks like it is some breaking news. So, order granted, accelerated approval. It's over, thank God. Hold on, we need to read through this. Okay, pursuant to Section 9B1 of the Securities Exchange Act of 1934 and Rule 19B4. So this is the approval of the 19B4, the first of the filings that should have been approved, and now we're seeing it on the New York Stock Exchange, so and the Nasdaq and the CBOE. Perfect. So this 19B4 is valid for the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust. It's for the Bitwise ETF and Hashtags Bitcoin ETF. Interesting. Very interesting. This is a very interesting turn of events. And this is the first thing that has to be approved. Then we have to see the S1 filings that should be now on track to coming in 8 minutes. That would be the ideal scenario. But after we see that, then we're going to see the ETF approvals coming in. And just after a couple of hours, we should be seeing the listing on exchanges. But keep in mind, after we get the S1s and after we get the 19B4s, there is still going to be many hours in between to get the actual ETFs traded on the markets. So that will probably not happen in this stream, but once we do see them trading tomorrow, hopefully, we will be doing another live stream or video updates. So again, subscribe, turn on the notification bell to not miss out once we see the ETFs trading on the market, hopefully tomorrow. And a massive shout out to everybody watching the stream over on Twitter too. 221 people. You guys are absolute legends. Make sure to follow me on Twitter too, because I do post updates there when I can't over on YouTube, and I do post it on my free Telegram channel as well, giving full detailed breakdowns on technical analysis. You can go ahead and check that out in the comment section of this video too, completely for free, and just something to give back to the community. So going over let's go to homepage and see what's up, right? I've not used Twitter this much actually ever before in my life, and honestly, I think it's pretty cool. I'm very very much liking Twitter, and we can see that everybody wanted to blame X for this hack yesterday, and really it's just super unfortunate how people are trying to go against X and trying to shut it down as much as possible, because Elon Musk is giving people the freedom of speech for the first time. It used to be the media that it's all bought basically. You can if you can purchase PR articles, you can do whatever, and they silence you. And I think Elon Musk is doing something crazy by giving people the freedom of speech. Okay, so there are some more breaking. So breaking, Bitcoin ETFs likely approved by the SEC. It certainly looks like the Bitcoin ETF approval order had hit the SEC website, but the link is no longer working. Okay, so another dodgy event in the series. Let's reread that. So the Bitcoin ETFs likely approved by the SEC. It certainly looks like that the Bitcoin ETF approval order had hit the SEC website, which is where we're going to see the official approvals. I think it's the Edgar website or something like that. We can pull it up in just a couple of minutes. But we can see that it hit the SEC website, but the link is no longer working. Very interesting. Like the level of funny business going on here is pretty crazy, and I would never expect this at all, and it's just very scandalous from my perspective. That said, this document looks accurate to me. So James is saying, even though it has been removed as a link, so we can actually open this website and see it's no longer available on the SEC Securities and Exchange Commission website. We don't have it anymore, but I think he was able to capture a screenshot of since then. And yeah, so this is the same exact document. He says it looks accurate, but now that it's been deleted, I think it means that it's no longer. God, I don't know. It's getting pretty crazy, and it's just the level of misinformation and the level of things going on is. I don't think it's not approved yet, guys. It's not approved yet, unfortunately. James and Eric Balchunas both confirmed that the SEC has not approved the Bitcoin spot ETF. It has not been approved yet. I repeat, it has not been approved. Let me check the chat and see what you guys are saying. But based off, okay, Plan B. Now Plan B is saying it's okay, there's a bit of a mix here. I think people are getting confused by what's going on. The price, the Bitcoin price has not been, look, see, we can see Crypto Rover here pasted this link, but it's no longer there. So the Bitcoin spot ETF has not been approved, ladies and gents. Be careful. The SEC removed it from their website. We have no clue why this is happening. As a matter of fact, I will check into some of my sources to see why that happened. But guys, the spot ETF has not been approved. We've seen another rug by the SEC, and it's just getting to a point where I'm tired, right? I am physically and mentally tired, but this is tiring me as a situation overall. It is not approved yet, according to my sources. So the doc is not available on their website. Let's just see what happens. If we jump back into the Bitcoin price, we're not seeing a heavy shift in the market. We're sitting at $45,800. We're exactly at the same place as that we were before these documents started dropping. But I am just going to be refreshing. I'm going to be refreshing the website over on Twitter until we see the confirmation that the ETFs are good. And yeah, until then, we just it is TBA and it's not approved. So let me switch back into the browser and see if there are new updates. It has not been approved, ladies and gents, unfortunately, but hey. So notably, all 11 issuers are listed in this order filing. Looks like no one is being left behind at the starting gate. So here's the 11. So this is very, very interesting. So all of the 11 Bitcoin ETFs that made it into the into the run-up, basically, they're most likely all going to be approved at the same time. So the cheapest in terms of fees here is the Bitwise Bitcoin ETF. For 6 months or up to $1 billion in volume, I believe that is. But Bitwise is the cheapest, then ARC21 shares, then Fidelity. But hey, it's getting very, very spicy in here, and I just can't wait to see what's going to happen. Any minute now. So it's 12:57. The markets. Okay, it says breaking news. Hold on. Okay, so the SEC approves all Bitcoin spot ETFs. I think this time it's accurate. This time it may have been accurate. Let's quickly check the price. What is going over on the price? We have 3,500 viewers, by the way. It looks like this time it is official. I'm not going to confirm it 100%. We can see that the price of Bitcoin is not reacting too crazily. We can go over into Bitflex to see the price of Bitcoin just a little bit more clearly on TradingView. We can't see the price that easily, but $46,000 is what we're trading at. So if this is the approval, then we have not seen a drastic impact on the price. I've been saying this in the start of the stream too. I think that 95% of this move has been priced in. Hey, I think this is. Let's check Eric and let's check Eric once again, and then we'll check James. We'll check James first. But breaking Bitcoin ETFs likely approved by the SEC. So this was what we went over last time, but if we click this link again, it's not, see, it doesn't show up. It doesn't show up. Watch Your Guru is saying that it's approved. We're seeing multiple sources saying it's approved, but the two people that I trust the most in this space has not said it's approved yet, and that's why I am skeptical. I'm skeptical. The site is down. Okay, so there is a scenario here. The possibility that, yes, it's been approved, but the site is down due to the massive inflow of people actually checking the site is also a possibility. So over here, I think it's possible that, yes, it's approved, but because the website is down, we can't see it. And that is why the price of Bitcoin is yet to see a massive move towards the upside or towards the downside. It looks like a small push, which the small push scenario that we discussed is playing out, because we did rebound from $45,500 to now 46.1K. But the SEC website seems to be down. Now, this is not funny business from where I'm sitting. I don't think it's any funny business. I think that the situation is that a lot of people are just trying to access the website. This happened with the DTCC website, if you remember, just a couple of months ago when we saw the ETFs being listed on the depository. So I forget the name of it, but it's DTCC. We saw a lot of people going into the website, and for like many hours, the website itself was down. So I think that is what we're seeing here, and necessarily we can't say that it's not approved. It's probably because the SEC website is not working right now. So I want to go over into the latest tweets. Rover is saying that they're accepted. We're seeing Nate Gerassi, by far my favorite part of the approval order. The commission is able to conclude that fraud or manipulation that impacts price in spot Bitcoin markets would likely similarly impact. Okay, wow. That is not great. So there is something that we need to be careful of. The SEC is going to be monitoring these Bitcoin ETFs, and if they see that these Bitcoin ETFs may not be good in terms of risk to investors and Bitcoin gets very volatile, then there is a chance that they say, hold on, we need to halt trading of the Bitcoin ETFs. And I think that would be a very massive twist and a massive turn to the story. I just hope that doesn't happen, but it looks like it is a possibility. True, now the race begins, but that's going to be more normal tracking of flows, volume, new launches, etc. Unlike this emotional roller coaster, many of us have been held hostage for about 6 months, and especially the last 2 days, we're free now. It's not over, it has only just begun. Yeah, guys, it has just begun. It's not over. Unfortunately, we can't take the vacation. We're not able to take the vacation that we've been wanting to take. I just want to take the weekend off, but it looks like now it's just things are just getting started. It's going to be a pretty hectic few months. Hopefully, we're going to be seeing a lot of volume coming into Bitcoin and Bitcoin ETFs, and we're going to be seeing the halving. There's just too many events to talk about, and all of this should have a positive impact on the Bitcoin price. We have the elections coming up. That should also impact the price in multiple ways due to the interest rates being pressured to be reduced coming up towards the elections. There's just too much to discuss. But the ETF is most likely going to launch tomorrow. As I mentioned, we have the approval from the SEC side, most likely. I don't think they've tweeted about it. They're probably refraining from tweeting about it. If we check their Twitter account once more, yeah, they've not said anything. Gary Gensler has not said anything because we would have seen it in the latest update section, but no. Gary Gensler has not said anything as well. But I mean, a lot of people, a lot of trustable sources, Eric Balchunas, I believe, is also now confirming that the ETFs are approved. So if that is the situation, then we should hypothetically be seeing the price of Bitcoin skyrocketing, but we're currently sitting at $46,000 and not much is going on. Now, this is giving us a suggestion that the ETF is most definitely priced in. We still have another round to be optimistic about. The trading has not begun yet. The trading will begin tomorrow. tomorrow if all of this is true. And once we see the trading begin, if the Bitcoin spot ETFs makes it into the 25 most successful ETF launches of our history, then I think we could see a lot of FOMO from retail investors, from institutional investors, that will see it on mainstream media, and that could create a high at $50,000. That is what I'm personally expecting. Of course, I think a small push, as I said, is possible, but in the macro landscape, a small drawdown could come about in the market. And if we do see it, then it's just a time to be accumulating Bitcoin at cheaper prices. But God, my voice is now... I'm starting to lose my voice, ladies and gents. We hit 3,800 viewers. If we can smash this stream to over 1,400 likes, that would be very much appreciated. If you're not subscribed yet, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Turn on the notification bell to not miss out on any updates. But yeah, this is what we're seeing. The ETFs, I'm going through Twitter right now and just trying to find the most trustable sources, because a lot of it is unfortunately not too accurate. Bitcoin is sitting at $45,800. Eric Balchunas is he's saying that most likely it's approved. The website is down. That's the only issue that we have. So after the SEC website comes back up, or if it comes back up, then we may see a sudden surge in price, especially if the SEC ends up tweeting about it. But until then, we're now sitting at the 45.8K, and we're seeing a small drawdown from the 46K levels that we got up to before the CBOE news. And James, if we search for James and what James has been saying, my voice is, I've never experienced this before. I think my voice after an hour and 15 minutes of streaming with this high frequency, it is starting to go away, my voice, but I do apologize for that if it is not coming out as great as it should be. But the one time that I need my voice to work, it's not working. Okay, so yeah, I mean, it just looks like James is still on the sidelines. They're probably waiting for confirmations on the Bloomberg terminal. But until we get to that point, we can't say that 100% it's confirmed. But I think from my standpoint, 80% chance that the Bitcoin ETFs are going to be launching tomorrow. The SEC website is still down, but that's the kind of overall breakdown that we're seeing. But I want to check the BITO, because BITO is a very interesting ETF to check. Now, BITO is actually one of the most successful ETFs that has been launched, and it's called the Bitcoin Strategy ProShares Strategy ETF, and it launched at the top of the bull market, and it kind of caused that money to flow into Bitcoin, taking us to the 69K level, right? It was because of BITO, partly it was because of BITO. And BITO was one of the 25 top most profitable and most successful ETF launches on day one in history. And these Bitcoin spot ETFs, as I said, if we make it to that level, then we're going to be seeing massive FOMO from retail and institutional investors. But hey, BITO is trading at 22.37, not a massive move on BITO. But we I am slowly losing my voice, as I mentioned. I'm going to try and do my best to reduce it a little and talking a little less of a pace because I don't want that to go away. I still have 2 hours in me. I think I can go on for another 2 hours and see what happens here with the Bitcoin price. Let me go through some of your comments while I'm kind of resting a little bit. Let's see what you guys are saying. ETF just approved. Yeah, approved. It looks like it's approved. We can have a look at Ethereum. So let's go into Ethereum. Ethereum should be seeing a massive price increase. Yeah, wow. Okay, Ethereum is doing very well. Ethereum is doing very, very well. Guys, congrats. We've talked about Ethereum in past couple of videos, and I mentioned entry targets for Ethereum and a potential trade to be taking on Ethereum. I'm super, super bullish on it. I've been mentioning it on my Twitter actually for just a couple of days ago. I posted that I think after Bitcoin, it's going to be Ethereum that starts exploding, and I'm going to be looking to add some Ethereum to my bags and my holdings overall. And it should be here. Let me try and find it. It was just a couple of days back. Yeah, it was, there we go. So after we see the attention shift from Bitcoin ETFs, I think that the new focus is going to be Ethereum ETFs heading into February, slowly started to accumulate more Ethereum. So Ethereum is pumping $2,500. I think we just hit $2,500. We're sitting at 2,499. 2,500 has not been hit in months. I think also 22 months it's been since Ethereum has hit that level. But God, oh no, the voice is not looking good. The voice is not looking good, guys. Oh boy, let's drink some water. But if I switch into TradingView, we can see that Ethereum is not seen Ethereum has not seen the $2,500 mark ever since, let me see the date there, since May of 2022. So for another 20, it's an all-time high, a local all-time high for Ethereum in the past 22 months. Very, 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 very bullish. We hit 2,500 and now we're trading way higher. It's at now 2,000, well, not way higher, but $2,503 is the price that Ethereum is at. I'm going to be trying to fix, hold on, just give me a second. I'm going to try and fix the trading view chart, but it's not going to work. It's not going to work. If we switch it to this tab over here, we should be able to see the price now of Ethereum on the trading view chart. So if I switch back, let's see what happens. There we go. Okay, perfect. So we can see here that Ethereum is now trading at 2,500. We broke a 22-month high almost, which is pretty solid, I can't lie. Massive congrats to all of the crypto kids that decided to take that trade that we mentioned in the past couple of videos. For some reason, I can't find it. I think it got deleted from this chart, but it looks something like this. We had a massive ascending triangle or a rising wedge, depending on how you looked at it. But my initial perspective was this ascending triangle, and we were testing the resistance of it very beautifully. And I did mention a potential entry to be getting on Ethereum was the point where we were testing this line of resistance, and now it is skyrocketing. We have a target of $3,500 for this altcoin season and this next massive full-fledged bull market that we see hopefully on Bitcoin. But that is what's happening on Ethereum currently. Bitcoin is trading at 46,100, not a massive price difference at all so far. If we jump back into the browser and scroll through some of the breaking news once again and kind of do a tour of James, Eric, and Eleanor and see if there's any updates there. There is nothing massive. So BlackRock may be the first day flow record with a possible $2 billion in asset injection on the first day of trading for its US spot Bitcoin ETF. So according to Bloomberg Intelligence's senior ETF analyst Eric Balchunas, seed funding could combine with grassroots interest to give it momentum in a race that includes up to 11 ETFs that we think could gather as much as $4 billion on the first day and 50 billion assets within 2 years. Now that is crazy. That is crazy. Why? Because Eric himself just yesterday on a Spaces said that this is a very ambitious target and reaching this would be very difficult. But if we see $50 billion worth of assets flowing into the Bitcoin ETFs within 2 years, it is absolutely massive. You got to keep in mind that the total market cap of Bitcoin is $950 billion. So 50 billion from just one of the ETFs is massive. If we see $200 billion, then that's a severe percentage of the total market cap of Bitcoin, and that should increase the price of Bitcoin pretty significantly. But yeah, this is pretty bullish, and James has reposted this, so it is very legit. It's a very legitimate source from Bloomberg themselves. So I'm happy to confirm that the Grayscale team has received necessary regulatory approvals to uplist GBDC to the New York Stock Exchange ARCA, and we will share a press release with additional information shortly. Grayscale. So the ETFs are approved. Now we can confirm that the approval is there. The Bitcoin spot ETF is approved, and massive congratulations, guys. So it is approved. Is the Bitcoin spot ETF approved? We can come to the conclusion that yes, we have approved these ETFs. And guys, to celebrate, let's smash 1,500 likes. Now that we've officially seen this ETF get approved, I think we deserved 1,500 likes, and it is possible. We have currently 3,400 people watching. Again, massive shout out to every single one of you that is staying up so late or early morning, wherever you are, whenever you are, and let's celebrate. Let's put some confetti. But is it gonna work? No. The confetti that didn't work. Okay, that was a bit of a mess. But hold on. But what we can do is play some applause. Guys, massive congrats. We've been waiting for this for a very long time, and we all deserved it. I'm personally going to take like a one-day vacation and not look at any chart, not look at any ETF whatsoever. But guys, massive congrats. We got the ETFs approved. The price of Bitcoin, how is it getting affected? Ethereum is pumping, but Bitcoin, on the other hand, we can see here, Bitcoin is not doing too much. We're sitting at $46,200, and yeah, it's not seeing the move that we've been expecting, which is funny because yesterday, once the SEC tweeted about the ETFs, we went up to $48,000. But earlier on in the stream, I mentioned that, look, I think that a push is possible, but it's going to be a much less extended push compared to what we could have seen if we saw the ETFs actually get approved yesterday. But hey, it is what it is. It looks like, yes, it has been mostly priced in. It is possible that we see a drop maybe going into next week or the week after, but in the macro landscape, I am super bullish for Bitcoin. 50K, 48K, there's still both possible targets to keep in mind. XRP, I'm hearing that XRP is going up in price. Ethereum for sure is. XRP is, yeah, it's seeing a small increase, but if these ETFs are very, very much positive and they see positive outcome and positive inflow, then the spot Ethereum and XRP ETFs should be good to go in the upcoming weeks. That is probably what's going to be happening. But yeah. We've seen the approvals. It is a massive relief. I'm super happy that we've seen it. It was getting pretty scary, and there was a lot of doubt being driven in the market that the ETFs won't be approved overall. But hey, I'm super happy that that's the situation. There's always a chance. There's always a chance that somehow we get rugged. But from what it's looking like right now, I think we can celebrate. I think it is okay to celebrate. I don't want to go too crazy in celebrating, because if something comes out like in an hour from the SEC or something, they're going to be like, oh, okay, well, that was fake news again. So I want to take the celebrating at a modest level. We don't want to go too crazy, but I think we deserve a win. I think we deserve a win. So I think there's nothing wrong with, just a nice little applause. That should be completely fine. And I think we deserve that. This is from Watch Your Guru. So the SEC approves all spot Bitcoin ETFs, according to them. So we're seeing all of them get approved at once. There is a chance that that's not the case, but let's just assume that that is what's happening. We can go over into Twitter once again and check through the latest updates, but I think this is it. I think that this is it. Yeah, so Eric, so congrats to Grayscale, by the way. They are why all of this happened. They fought the law and won 100%. Even so, I was so doubtful they'd make it to the starting gate, but they have. Yeah, so Eric was saying that Grayscale was probably going to be one of the last ones to actually get approved, but no, they have fought for us. Grayscale went into court, won the court, and they're now in the front line of ETFs that have been approved in the first half of Q1 of 2024. So a massive congrats to Grayscale and their team. They really led us to it. I mean, they are the heroes at this point, and we just have nothing to do but to congratulate them. So a massive congrats. I do want to check the price of GBTC, because GBTC, it should technically have an increase towards the upside. So let's check GBTC and see how the price has been affected. Now it's after market, but look at that. GBTC has been seeing a massive rally, a massive rally. We had a small dump yesterday, but that dump has been recovered. Its losses have been completely recovered, and now we're trading at 40.5. Wow. Very impressive. But the SEC servers are still appearing to be down, and they can't handle the hype. That is completely normal, and that should be fixed hopefully going into tomorrow. But guys, massive congrats. Bitcoin is seeing a rejection. Now we're at $45,895. We're not seeing a move, the expected move up that we wanted to see now, but let's just stay calm. Let's stay put. I want to see how this candle closes this week. So in the next 4 days and 3 hours, that's going to be very critical, and it's going to help me give the judgment that I want to make based off of the fact that if we're going to reduce lower, or if this is just the start and Bitcoin can continue trading at a higher price point. Now I want to have a look at the MRI and 3 of my personally favorite moving averages. The MRI, like I said, is having a second top, which is incredibly rare. It is indicating that the momentum has come towards an end, and we may see a rejection, but moving average is still up. Let's see if I was able to bring up the CMF. So let's bring up the CMF and the stochastic. CMF oscillator and the stochastic. For some reason, my trading view is a bit laggy and it's not coming up, but it doesn't look too bad at all. Bitcoin is not looking too bad in the macro scale, even though in the short term we could see a small price reversal. Ladies and gents, I want to check ETH to BTC. The ETH to BTC chart apparently is going, it's pretty much having a very nice wick towards the upside. And this is why I'm expecting Ethereum to have a very solid run after the spot ETFs and all of that news is done. People are going to be shifting into Ethereum instead. Yeah, it's having a nice increase. Look, we're outperforming now Bitcoin technically in this week's candle, which is not bad at all. Not bad at all. Altcoins. People are saying that the altcoins are pumping. Let's have a look at the total crypto market cap. Altcoins are not doing too bad. yeah, altcoins are not doing too shabby. And yeah, I think this is a potential time to be accumulating altcoins before the halving, before we see the massive altcoin season. But it's been approved. It's been approved. It looks like it's been approved, and now it's pretty much done and it's over. And I can't believe it. It's just over like that. I mean, was that it? Was that it? I mean. Yeah, I expected more. I personally expected more. I expected more volatility. It's probably due to the reason that SEC has not posted it on their Twitter account, which is why we're not seeing the massive push up. If the SEC does at some point decide to post it on their Twitter, then the price of Bitcoin could see a surge. But so far, they've not posted anything. They're probably still running the internal investigation, and that could be the reason why they've not posted anything so far. Yeah, there's nothing. There is nothing. But let's go to the breaking posts. Again, there's a new tweet every single day. So, hey, James, I uploaded the full document to a link since I assumed the SEC side would go down. Yeah, so we have the link to the document. Perfect. Perfect. So can pretty much guarantee that the SEC did not intend for anyone outside the SEC to get their hands on this document link yet. I can confirm that I downloaded the document from SEC.gov website and it's an approval order. Assume the SEC will repost shortly. Okay, so now what we're expecting is the SEC to officially post it on their Twitter account. So if the SEC does end up posting this on their Twitter, then we can see a larger scale move up. Now we can assume that the ETFs are approved, but at the last minute, in the last second, we know how the SEC works. They may rug us completely, and until that time, we just need to wait. We can't do much about it. I will be on the stream until we see that happen, hopefully. But yeah. The moment that they do post it, the price of Bitcoin should hypothetically at least see a bit of a further move towards the upside. But so far we've been getting a rejection, which is normal. It was expected. Both ways is fine. If we see a drop, cheaper Bitcoin. If we see a move towards the upside, then taking profits. That's what I'm doing. That's what my personal play is. But going over to your comments, we're back to 3,200 viewers. Ladies and gents, we're so close to getting to 1,500 likes. I think this stream deserves 1,500 likes. If we can get it up to 1.5K, it would be a dream come true. If you're not subscribed yet, make sure to subscribe to the channel. We're seeing altcoins not doing too bad. And I'm just going to post this here because this post looks like that they've all been approved. This is a hold on. Okay, let's wait on this. Let's wait on this. I just found a graphic that's very interesting. But let's wait until we see an actual confirmation from the SEC. Guys, we hit 1,500 likes. You guys are absolutely incredible. I have nothing to say other than the fact that I'm super grateful to each and every one of you. And this is all very, very crazy. I'm still processing it in my head that we have 3,000 people watching. Yeah, just thank you guys so much. Okay, so the commission therefore believes that the proposals. Okay, we've seen it here. Okay, so let's. Okay. All right. So also notably, the quote I posted above: the SEC is maintaining that the CME is not a market of significant size, and this is just a thread into this kind of document that we went over just a couple of minutes and hours ago. I don't know how long it's been, but this stream has been going on for a while. So the SEC is acknowledging that the CME futures market and their impact on and the effectiveness in surveillance. As such, in contrast, wow, okay, this is a long. My voice is not going to be. It's not going to be able to handle it. My voice is leaving the chat, guys. It's not looking good for my voice. But we can read this end bit here that the commission therefore believes that the proposals, as with the other spot commodity ETPs that the commission has approved, are reasonably designed to promote their fair disclosure of information that may be necessary to price the shares of the trusts appropriately, to prevent trading when a reasonable degree of transparency cannot be assured, to safeguard material, non-public information relating to the trust portfolios, and to ensure blah, blah, blah. Okay. So this is just like an explanation on what the SEC is expecting from these, I believe, and why it's been removed from their website. So it can pretty much guarantee that the SEC did not intend for anyone. They didn't want to get this out to this document or link to anyone yet. But notably, this quote that he posted above, James posted above, the SEC is maintaining that the CME is not a market of significant size. So I'm not. It's just they've not been publicly announcing it. That's the issue. They've not been posting this on their Twitter, and that's the only doubt that I have personally. But 99% chance now that it's actually approved, and we'll probably be seeing them tradable on the market tomorrow. But that's kind of everything. I mean, Now it's just a waiting game. It's a matter of waiting and seeing what happens. And if we do see them tradable within the next upcoming hours, then we could have one final push on Bitcoin, depending on the amount of capital going into the ETFs. But until then, we just got to sit back, relax, and watch the charts. God, the voice is dead. The voice is dead. Really apologies, guys. I did not expect my voice to do this at a time like this. But hey, it is what it is. We still got a little bit of water left. This much left. Once this is finished, then it's game over. Then let's see what happens. Okay, so Bitcoin is dumping. Bitcoin is seeing a drop. It's not dumping. It's not dumping. Hey, it's not dumping. It is actually, it's pumping a little bit. It's not moving much. This candle is relatively an indecision candle still. If we close it like this, it will be a shooting star. But on the weekly time frame, people are still indecisive about the move and what's going to happen. Yeah. Yeah, Bitcoin's not doing much. Bitcoin is not doing much. Just going through the chat, by the way. Right now, just going through your chat and kind of resting my voice a little bit. Yeah, not much is happening. So when are we expecting the SEC update? Well, this is TBA. We don't know exactly when this has happened or if it's going to happen at all. They may make the excuse that their Twitter is under investigation, so they can't be posting anything there. That is an assumption to make, but other than that, we should be definitely seeing them posting something about it the moment they're launched. But until that point, we can't give a timeline of if they're going to be posting about it on their Twitter or if not. It's just a waiting game, and we're going to have to see what happens until then. Switch to it. Yeah, maybe I should whisper instead. I don't know if that's going to work hard, if that's going to work out. Yeah, guys, this is very much appreciated. For all of those that have been just tuning into the channel and maybe have not watched the CryptoKid channel before, my name is CryptoKid. I'm 16 years old. I've been in the space since I was 12, and it's been a roller coaster since. And I just appreciate all of you just watching this video. Tomorrow I have school in approximately 6 hours. I have no clue how I'm going to wake up for this, but after we see something from the SEC, then I'm planning on ending it, and then we can have a chill out time and just relax. But Bitcoin has not been doing much since, right? We've not been seeing a massive move on Bitcoin. What do I think will happen to Ethereum and me? Look, I think the altcoin season is going to be approaching very, very soon. So I think the altcoin season is going to be coming up after the halving. And once we do end up seeing that altcoin season, I think a lot of these altcoins are going to be going up drastically. I did make a video with DaVinci just a couple of weeks back talking about my personal top favorite altcoins in the space and which altcoins I believe in 2024, in this 2024 altcoin season, they could perform well. DaVinci also put some of his picks in there. I'm pretty bullish on Shiba Inu. I really like Dogecoin. I really like a couple of other tokens, but you can go back on the channel and find the video that I made with DaVinci. Maybe Mr. Diogo could potentially put it in the chat if he's very nice enough. Yeah, I am 16. Yeah, there you go. The facial hair is, I'm Turkish, so the genes came in clutch. I can't lie. I can't lie at all. Yes, I am 16. Yeah. Yes, I know it's a bit hard to believe. I get that a lot. But hey, I can't complain about the beard. Can't complain. Yeah, watch everybody leave right now because they're like, what? We're listening to a 16-year-old this past 1 hour, 40 minutes? Yeah, a crypto kid. Yeah, it is. I'm actually a kid. Let's go over into the breaking news. I think we do have some more updates that are coming in. Let's refresh. Okay. Anyone worried that this was a potential fake out again? Nope. Perfect. This was not a fake out. I think we can go 100% and say that, hey, look, the SEC has approved it. We don't need to be worrying about this anymore. The 19B4 approval order has officially hit the SEC front-facing part of the website, which is amazing, but they're not saying anything about the S1s. Without the S1s, technically we can't be trading. So no one is saying anything about the S1s. And without the Bloomberg terminal, which not many people have, by the way, we can't really say, we can't really guarantee if all of this is confirmed for legit, but according to James and Eric Balchunas and all of these reputable sources that everyone has been following on Twitter, we can assume that maybe 99.9% chance that yes, we are approved and everything should be fine. ETH is pumping. ETH is pumping. I think ETH is pumping. Ethereum is pumping. That is a fact. And we're breaking out of this ascending triangle on our way to the $3,500 target. that we could definitely reach. I mean, I don't think it is a non-possible target. I think $3,500 is very, very much possible for Ethereum. Again, once again, congrats to everyone that decided to take a trade on this Ethereum ascending triangle we discussed last week and the week before that. And if you guys are looking for a place to be trading Bitcoin or cryptocurrencies, you can head over to the description below and sign up to Bitflex. That is the current exchange that I'm using. You can get up to $88,000 in bonuses and rewards if you sign up to Bitflex using this link. But hey guys, I think that's it's over. It's over. James is saying that it's pretty much confirmed and there's nothing that we need to worry about. And I personally trust James, right? And if he's wrong, then it's on him, right? It's on him. Okay, I'm going to check Eric once again and see what's happening there. Eric Balchunas, and he's in a space right now. It would be interesting to record the space. Maybe I could go in and record the space and see what he's saying. So Bitcoin spot ETFs approved. It could be interesting to go ahead and tune into what they're saying. Maybe I can let's unmute the system audio and let's tune into the space and see what they're saying. Let's start listening.
SEC to stand on to approve a Bitcoin spot ETF.
I'm going to just mute myself and we can kind of listen to this a little bit because he is speaking live.
An ETH spot ETF shortly thereafter, because for all the same reasons they approved a Bitcoin spot ETF, you know, those are essentially in place for an ETH spot ETF to be approved as well too. And ETH is it's just a lot jumpier than Bitcoin. You know, it's a lot smaller. It's the trading volumes are thinner. So it just historically, you know, just look at the realized volatility of Ethereum versus Bitcoin, and it can really get jumpy, even more so than Bitcoin. And I think you're kind of seeing that play out right now.
Yeah, I think that all makes a lot of sense. Matt Hogan, I was trying to get you up before. I mean, little victory lap here. I mean, you guys have got to be very excited.
Congrats, Matt.
Yeah, we're absolutely excited. We've been working on this for 5 years, and the SEC website is back up.
So yeah, I was gonna ask.
Are we sure?
So the SEC website is apparently back up. Okay, the SEC website, if it is back up, that's what Mario's microphone was a bit too loud there. But let's double check if the SEC website is working again. I think Rover had it posted. So if I go to Rover's account, and shout out to Rover, by the way, let's go here. He posted the link to the SEC. I think there we go. So let's see if it's back up and if it's working. Yes, vamos. There we go, guys. Confirmation. This is the confirmation. This is from directly the SEC website, and this is the document that is shared. So massive congrats. There it is. Approval live on Bloomberg. There we go. It's done. It is done. And for all of you wondering how this is impacting the price of Bitcoin, it is doing basically absolutely nothing. But look, this was expected. Bitcoin has priced it in for the last literally 10 months now. I have no clue how long it's been, but for a very, very long time, since June of last year. June of last year was when we first got the news. It was back in this candle. For all of this majority, it's been the exact same hype that has been pumping Bitcoin. And it's definitely it is expected that at this point now that we would be priced in, because everybody buying up this trend has been buying up because the ETF news was coming about. It looks like that the current retail investors, the current already crypto holders is priced it in. But the only way that Bitcoin can go up further is if we see new surge of new inflow of capital via the Bitcoin BlackRock spot ETFs. We need to see new inflow of capital. And that's the thing, everybody's been giving these predictions of, okay, $2 billion are going to be going into the ETFs in the first week or whatever. But this is from existing Bitcoin holders. It's expected from existing Bitcoin holders. These Bitcoin holders will shift their Bitcoin positions to the Bitcoin ETFs, not new capital flowing in. And that is the metric that we need to be on the lookout for. We need to make sure that there is new capital buying up Bitcoin, and we see an increased amount of people holding Bitcoin as an asset overall. But for all of you wondering, for all of you that are just joining the stream, it is confirmed. We can see that the SEC website is back up, and this is from their official page, and it is looking very, 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 very nice. And happy days, everyone. Massive congrats to each and every one of you. We deserve this. We've been in this space in the bear market, grinding for the past months, and we're finally seeing the approvals, and I'm just super happy. There's not much to say. Not much to say at all, other than saying massive congrats, guys. I think Eric left the space. So probably the space crashed or something. So the space is not working anymore. So we can't really go back into it. But the SEC has confirmed it. It has been approved. We've seen no tweets from their side so far. There's been no tweets. We can go back into the U.S. Securities Exchange and Commission and check if they posted something. No, the latest one was in Jan 9th, and of course, 23 hours ago, and they have deleted the unauthorized tweet beforehand. Let's go into Gary Gensler. I don't think Gary Gensler has said anything either. But yeah, so there's been no change from that perspective. Going into the Michael Saylor would have said something. Michael Saylor would have definitely said, oh, okay, Gensler, while we approved the listing and trading of certain spot Bitcoin ETP shares today, we did not approve or endorse Bitcoin. Hold up. What does that mean? Guys, what does that mean? Can somebody give me what does this mean, guys? While we approved the listing and trading, and this is a pretty reputable source too. Before you guys ask, while we approved the listing and trading of certain spot Bitcoin ETP shares today, we did not approve or endorse Bitcoin. Like, what does that mean? Like at this point, I don't know. I honestly don't know. It's Binance has said it. So it says, Commission approved the listing and trading of a number of shares of Bitcoin Spot Exchange traded products. But yeah, I don't know why they said that. It is a little bit confusing. So it looks like we will need 6 confirmations from the SEC Gov before we can settle this Bitcoin ETF transaction. Yeah, it's so true. I mean, now it's at a point where it's so hard to trust it. It's super hard to trust it. I mean, what are we supposed to say, right? Well, they're giving us mixed signals all the time, and it's just I'm having trust issues personally. I don't know whether to trust it or not. Right, and they're giving trust issues to a 16-year-old kid, and that's not healthy at all. And if we get 6 confirmations on the blockchain by Michael Saylor, then it is going to be a go-ahead that yes, okay, now 1,000%, it's fine. But all we need now is the approved effective S1s, and these things can indeed begin trading tomorrow. Wait, hold on. Okay, now we're getting mixed signals again. So I've been saying that the S1s, the S1s are nowhere to be seen. I assume that this would have the S1s in it, but no, this is just an approval of the 19 B4s. So there could be still a last minute rug pull. I know. There still could be that situation where we get that last minute rug pull, and that's probably why the markets are not pumping yet, because people are not sure if it's approved or not. Major chance that it is, but we know how the SEC runs. And it's yeah, okay. We've not seen the S1 so far, but the S1s, according to James and Eric from their podcasts and their spaces that they've done in the past couple of days, the S1s should be coming straight after the 19B4s. So in the upcoming hours, we should definitely be seeing the S1s coming in. But if not, then we need to worry. Yeah, I know. There's still doubt in the space. And for everybody just joining, make sure to smash out the like button. Let's get the stream to 1,700 likes. I can't believe those words are coming out of my mouth right now. 1,700 likes. And if you haven't subscribed already, make sure to subscribe, turn on the notification bell to not miss out on any daily technical analysis uploads on this channel, where I share with the latest breaking news with you. We go into the breaking reports on live streams. But guys, thank you so much for joining. We hit 30,000 subscribers earlier on this month, and I have no clue where we're at right now. I think we've passed 31K. But yeah, I mean, we're just waiting for the S1s at this moment in time. And until the S1s come around, press release from the Grayscale on GBTC, uplisting as an ETF. So this is the press release from the Grayscale company. Let's have a look at it. Let's go through it. So Grayscale Investments, the world's largest crypto asset manager, today announced that the U.S. Securities Exchange and Commission has approved New York Stock Exchange Arca's application pursuant to Rule 19b-4 under the Securities Exchange Act of 1934 to list the shares of its flagship product Grayscale Bitcoin Trust, and is expected to declare GBTC's registration statement on Form S3 effective as of 5 p.m. Eastern Time today. So it should be in approximately 24 minutes. If I'm not wrong. The approval of the application effectiveness of the registration statement will allow GBTC to operate as a spot Bitcoin ETF. Because remember, Grayscale are shifting their current existing trust into a spot ETF. And really, we need to thank Grayscale for all of this. They've been a massive part of the fact that the ETFs have been approved, and that they've led the frontier with going into court with the SEC, winning, and now nobody was expecting them to actually get approved alongside the Fidelity and the Valkyrie, etc. But they've managed to do it, and a massive congrats to them for doing so. So the ticker is going to be GBTC. Shares of GBTC are expected to commence trading on the New York Stock Exchange on the January 11th. So according to the official press release from Grayscale, we could expect the GBTC to be trading on the New York Stock Exchange tomorrow, or today in fact. So this is what they're saying. We should be seeing at some point today, after the S1 approvals by the SEC, we should be seeing these tradable on the markets, and you should be starting to be able to purchase them actually and hold Bitcoin ETFs if you would like to do that. So once GBT shares start trading on the NYSE, we will cease trading on the OTC markets and will have automatically been uplisted to the New York Stock Exchange as shares of a Bitcoin spot ETF. Current GBTC shareholders do not have to take any action prior to GBTC's expected uplisting. So this is important if you do have any GBTC holdings. The trust launched in 2013, became publicly quoted on the OTCQX, and it's just giving a brief history about here and how far Grayscale has come and when they first started their mission. So massive congrats to them. It's looking more and more legit as the time goes. So that is amazing news. We can go back into James and start refreshing everything that he's been saying once again. So let's refresh. And let's have a look here. So we said the press release, that was the latest thing. And if we check Eric Balchunas, I think I'm pronouncing his name wrong. And we go here. There's been no updates from them other than the fact that we got the official press release from BlackRock themselves. I think those two guys are trying to be mindful, because if they share the wrong thing, then it's just going to be, they're going to get pinpointed the blame for any wrong approvals. But so the SEC, this is breaking news. Once again, breaking news. The SEC chair, Gary Gensler, issues statement on spot Bitcoin ETF approval. So this is where we read it from. Okay, perfect. So we can see the actual statement. I think this is from the SEC website. So today, the commission approved the listing and trading of a number of spot Bitcoin exchange traded products. I have often said that the commission acts within the law and how the courts interpret the law. Beginning under Chair Jay Clayton in 2018 and through March 2023, the commission disapproved more than 20 exchange rule filings for the spot Bitcoin ETPs, and an ETP is very similar to ETF. Basically, it's a similar thing. It's just the product, and the ETF is the actual instrument itself. So one of those filings made by Grayscale contemplated the conversion of the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust into an ETP. We are now faced with a new set of filings similar to those we have disapproved in the past. Circumstances, however, have changed. The U.S. Court of Appeals for the District of Columbia held that the commission failed to adequately explain its reasoning in disapproving the listing and trading of Grayscale's proposed ETP, and the court therefore vacated the Grayscale order and remanded the matter to the commission. So basically what it's saying here is they tried to disapprove the ETF, but what happened was the court found it unreasonable, their reasons unreasoned enough to not go ahead with them. And based on these circumstances and those discussed more fully in the approval order, I feel the most sustainable path forward is to approve the listing. I feel that the most sustainable path forward is to approve the listing and trading of these spot Bitcoin ETP shares. Guys, there we go. It's done. This is from Watch Your Guru. So if this is fake, it's their fault. It's not my fault, right? This is on them. But jokes aside, it does look pretty legit. So the commission evaluates any rule filing by a national securities exchange based upon whether it is consistent with the Exchange Act and regulations thereunder, including whether it is designed to protect investors and the public interest. The commission is merit neutral and does not take a view on particular companies, investments, or assets underlying an ETP. If the issuer of a security and the listing exchange company comply with the Securities Act, the Exchange Act, and the Commission's rules, that issuer must be provided the same access to our regulated markets as anyone else. So if everybody complies and they do nothing wrong, then they deserve the right to have a place in the markets, which makes complete sense, right? So importantly, today's commission action is cabined to ETPs holding one non-security commodity, Bitcoin. So non-security commodity, guys, we can see here that Gensler himself is calling Bitcoin a commodity. And the actual textbook definition for a commodity links to, a raw material or a raw material from the ground, and it can be interpreted as a hedge against inflation. So this is, ladies and gentlemen, incredibly bullish. And I want to quickly check the price of Bitcoin. So now that we have the ETF approval, we have it from Gary Gensler himself. Technically, we should have been seeing the price of Bitcoin pumping, but no, that is not the case. And this is bearish. Why? Because it is adding to the fact that it's strengthening our clause that the Bitcoin move is priced in. They're saying that people sell. No, honestly, I don't think this is a situation. Sure, the Asian markets are sleeping right now, but tomorrow morning we're going to have a better understanding, because yes, Asia is sleeping, and that is where most of the volume for Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies are derived from. So let's finish reading this off. So importantly, today's commission action is cabined to ETPs holding one non-security commodity, Bitcoin. It should in no way signal that the commission's willingness to approve listing standards for crypto asset securities. So over here is basically saying, oh, okay, I need to switch back into it. So over here, he's saying that don't be misguided, don't be misled. Yes, we approve the Bitcoin spot ETF, but it doesn't mean that we're going to be approving Ethereum or XRP. That's kind of the hint that he's been giving. Nor does the approval signal anything about the commission's views as to the status of other crypto assets under the federal securities laws, or about the current state of non-compliance of certain crypto asset market participants with the federal securities laws. As I've said in the past, and without prejudging any one crypto asset, the vast majority of crypto assets are investment contracts, and thus subject to the federal securities laws. Investors today can already buy and sell or otherwise gain exposure to Bitcoin at a number of brokerage houses, through mutual funds or national securities exchanges, through peer-to-peer payments apps, on non-compliant crypto trading platforms, and of course through the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust. Today's action will include certain protections for investors. So I think here we only have 100% confirmation that Grayscale's ETF has been approved. We're not seeing anything here talking about the other ETF issuers. So guaranteed for sure, we're seeing a conversion of the GBTC trust into an ETF. And the difference between a trust and an ETF is that a trust is more closed off and isn't available to everyone, to all of the institutions. So being an ETF, it is much more bullish, but it's not saying anything particularly about other ETFs. So GBTC here is confirmed 100%. We do have a Bitcoin spot ETF that is 100% confirmed, but I can't say the same for other guys. But we'll look into that also after finishing reading this. So first, sponsors of Bitcoin ETPs will be required to provide full, fair, and truthful disclosure about the products. Investors in any Bitcoin ETP that is listed and trading will benefit from the disclosure included in public registration statements and required periodic filings. While these disclosures are required, it is important to note that today's action does not endorse the disclosed ETP arrangements, such as custody arrangements. Second, these products will be listed and traded on registered national securities exchanges. Such regulated exchanges are required to have rules designed to prevent fraud and manipulation, and we will monitor them closely to ensure that they are enforcing those rules. Furthermore, the Commission will fully investigate any fraud or any manipulation in the securities markets, including schemes that use social media platforms. I think they're referring to the hack over here. Such regulated exchanges also have rules designed to address certain conflicts of interest, as well as to protect investors and the public interest. So further existing rules and standards of conduct will apply to the purchase and sale of the approved ETPs. This includes, for example, regulation best interest when broker deals recommend ETPs to retail investors, as well as fiduciary duty under the Investment Advisors Act for investment advisors. Today's action does not approve or endorse crypto trading platforms or intermediaries, which for the most part are non-compliant with the federal securities laws and often have conflicts of interest, referring to Binance over here. So since 2004, this agency has had experience overseeing spot non-security commodity ETPs, such as those holding certain precious metals. That experience will be valuable in our oversight of the Bitcoin spot ETF. So this is referring to the gold spot ETF launched by BlackRock back in 2004. Though we're merit neutral, I'd note that the underlying assets in the metals ETPs have consumer and industrial uses. So over here, he's trying to say that there is no use for Bitcoin in sense of a tangible way, which is, it's, of course, we know that that's not true. While in contrast, Bitcoin is primarily a speculative, volatile asset that's also used for illicit activity, including ransomware, money laundering, sanction evasion, etc. But so is cash, no? Anyways, while we approved the listing and trading of certain spot Bitcoin ETP shares today, we did not approve or endorse Bitcoin. Why are they repeating this? We get it. Investors should remain cautious about the myriad risks associated with Bitcoin products and whose value is tied to crypto. Okay, so that's basically it. From this, we can summarize that the GBTC ETF is definitely approved, and we know that they're still bearish on Bitcoin. There is still a question mark regarding the ETF approvals for Ethereum and XRP. So if we quickly jump back into the price chart, we can see that Bitcoin is not moving much. We can see that Ethereum is still seeing a pump towards the upside. No change there. GBTC in the post market is down a little bit. So that also suggests that this move is pretty much priced in. And if we have a look at XRP2, so XRP USDT, we can see is currently not seeing a massive move either. We're up from 57 cents to now 59 cents. So that's beautiful. The markets are not reacting in the way that everybody's been expecting it to do so. So this does suggest a pricing in. But let's go over into the latest updates. Once again, let's go into over here and refresh this page. So let's go back, refresh, and see what is new. Okay, so we won, never gave up, Bitcoin ETF, Van Eck, beautiful. Let's leave that alike. So the silence is deafening. I can't believe no one is talking about this Bitcoin ETF, right? So literally, like it does feel like not many people are talking about it for some reason. I don't know. I got this feeling too. So Gensler is doing this. Are we sure it's not a hack? Yeah, we are getting severe trust issues at this point. So Justin, yeah, we read the statement, beautiful. So all 11 spot Bitcoin ETFs looks like it is accepted on the 19B4 perspective, but GBTC is 100% guaranteed that is go for launch. So perfect. Amazing, amazing, amazing. Super, super bullish. This is all super bullish. Yeah, it's amazing. There's nothing to say, but other than the fact that Bitcoin is not increasing like we expected to do so. So Ethereum is absolutely smashing Bitcoin, and we discussed this in multiple videos, in the previous videos on the channel and previous live streams, and this live stream too, that Ethereum will most likely, do very well now that the spot ETF situation is over. Tomorrow we'll see it actually launch on the exchanges, and once it does, Bitcoin will have one more chance of seeing a positive push towards the upside. But even after a successful launch on the exchanges, if we don't see Bitcoin skyrocketing furthermore, then it is a time to say, okay, hold on. Okay, it is at this point 100% priced in, but it is what it is. We still need to celebrate this win because it is massive for us. We're finally seeing institutional adoption that is going to be going into Bitcoin, and this is absolutely a win, and we cannot deny that for sure. So yeah, it's I'm super happy. And going back into what Scott Melker was saying, yeah, we're smashing Bitcoin right now, and that's super, super bullish for altcoins overall. But yeah, that's it. So huge news coming in a few days. This was from 3 hours ago, so it's not very recent. We can go into the following place and check if Eric and big boy Eric and James have anything to say. But let's go up to the top. So yeah, Binance is tweeting from all of their different multi-language Twitters that it's gotten approved. Ethereum is ripping Bitcoin spot ETFs on the approval news, which is perfect. So we've read the statement and the CPI estimates, by the way, for tomorrow. For anybody interested, we're having the CPI data launch in approximately now 24 hours. And that is going to give us an indication on how the interest rates are going to be looking like. If we see the CPI come down lower, then it will give us the indication that the interest rates can be reduced going into March. And we have a 64.5% chance, by the way, right now, of an interest rate decrease to the 500 to the 525 basis point area, which would be bullish as people will be withdrawing their money from their bank accounts and putting it into assets such as Bitcoin. And in the short term, that is incredibly bullish for us. In the macro, maybe not so much because it will put banks under less pressure. And we know that Bitcoin tends to skyrocket when banks have massive unrealized losses. But hey, in the short term, it will help us out and could take us to the 50K level. So that is not bad at all. And yes, Eric is in a space. Maybe I will play this and see what he's saying. So let me just mute myself for a second. We'll tune in, and if it's not good, we'll leave. But if it's good, then we can maybe listen to what he has to say. So let's click start listening, and let's see what they're saying. And we should be seeing the audio.
What the mechanics are of that, but I think the bulk of it is favors. I'm assuming. I mean, Matt, is that correct? Do you think?
I mean, I don't know what BlackRock is doing exactly, of course, but some version of that is right. I mean, look, I think we have
that's
a good
right.
analogy, for this in the halving, right? Everyone talks about number go up around the halving. but it doesn't go up the day of the halving, right? It's a cumulative effect over time, and this will be a similar thing. So, a lot of that, maybe some of that pre-lined up money already owns Bitcoin. Some will be new. It'll be a mix. It's not 100 and 0. It's definitely going to be a mix. But really, this is a multi-month story, just like halvings are multi-month or even year-plus
Agreed.
stories.
It's the best comparison, and now we kind of get this tailwind of both at the same time, right? Even if we have somewhat disappointing demand for the ETFs and it's steady, that is going to run into a reduction in supply in the not so distant future.
So this is something important. So that point that they just mentioned is important. So there is a chance. So Standard Chartered yesterday has been saying that they're expecting like $50 to $100 billion worth of inflows to the ETFs. And if this situation does not come about to be true, and we see much less of a demand, then this is going to add to the fact that Bitcoin may see a reversal towards the downside. But hey, we never know. If Bitcoin gets the institutional adoption, we see that institutional investors are actually favoring Bitcoin, then that would be perfect. We need to break it down into the demographics, right? So younger people, I was listening into the Bloomberg Live, and they were saying that younger people are, of course, more inclined to choosing Bitcoin over gold as a hedge against inflation in their total investment portfolios. So if we see the younger generation going and buying more Bitcoin, buying the money of the internet, right, buying the money of the future instead of putting it into gold, in the next 5 to 10 years, this is incredibly bullish. Look, there's a very nice quote by someone that I look up to a lot, and he says that you overestimate the amount of things that you can accomplish in the short term, but you underestimate the things that you can do in the long term. So in the long term, ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be incredibly, incredibly awesome. Look, in the short term, yes, we're not seeing an extended pump. That's okay. That's fine. But in the macro landscape, Bitcoin is going to be seeing massive institutional capital flowing into Bitcoin as soon as we're seeing, the United States dollar start to lose its value towards the downside, and we see, global economies get into a recessionary environment, which, by the way, for 2024, we have the highest level of predictions for a recession since the 1960s, I believe. And if this happens, then Bitcoin's price should catapult catastrophically, astronomically. And yeah, we just got to wait for that, right? We just got to buy, hold, in my personal, that's what I'm doing, buying and holding and just waiting. And patience is key. If you have patience, then it will pay out in the long run. But let's go back and listen to it. Let's listen to it for another 5 minutes or so. And if it is interesting, I'll give my comments on it. But if not, then we can slowly start wrapping it up. But I'm sure that Eric will be mentioning some pretty cool stuff. So I definitely recommend checking this space out, which we're going to play right now. And then we can do some Medieval Empires gameplay and discuss altcoins. And then I will be going through some of your altcoin predictions. And that's probably the plan for the live stream. So let's play the spaces again and see what they're saying. So let's put the volume back up.
7 years ago, is an industry that cares about fees. Investors are trained to search out the lowest cost or low cost ETFs. And if you look at where assets have gathered in the ETFs historically, it's been in very low cost funds, much lower than in the mutual fund industry, which the ETF industry disrupted. And that's sort of the ethos of the ETF culture, is to focus significantly on fees. It's not the only thing people care about. People care about brand, they care about expertise, they care about liquidity and trading. But in many cases, fees are the main thing. And you have ETFs potentially launching into this enormous market with a huge space up for grabs. And so you're going to see issuers compete very heavily on fees. It doesn't make it a bad business because the addressable market is so large. So, and it's worth noting, net good for investors at the end of the day. The less you pay, the more you keep. And many of the people who buy
it's great
ETFs
for investors, tough for issuers, right? I
Exactly.
mean,
That's the
just
question.
back of the napkin math at 0.5-ish, from what I heard, you need to have 2 billion-ish, in assets under management to break even, right? So the lower you go, obviously, I think it just makes this much more of a cutthroat battle. And we know that, 14 or 10, 11, whatever the number of them is, can't all survive. By the way, there's additional color from the SEC, man. They're taking their shots while they can. The SEC also stated that it had denied more than 20 applications. The SEC also stated that it had denied more than 20 applications. And the SEC also stated that it had denied more than 20 applications. And the SEC also stated that it had denied more than 20 applications. And the SEC also stated that it had denied more than 20 applications. but the District of Columbia Court of Appeals decision on Grayscale changed the situation. Currently, it is limited to Bitcoin, a non-securities commodity, and the vast majority of crypto assets are investment contracts. Does that make anyone else question whether we'll see an Ethereum approval in the next quarter? Go ahead, Bill, and then Yago. Bill.
Hey guys, sorry I was on mute. Congrats, Matt. I think that's awesome. I know the tenacity you guys have had in seeing this through. It's pretty cool to see. I think we've been working on some comments for clients. I'll just give you guys some highlights on some of the stuff we're focused on that clients are going to want to look for. I think the first is just the outflow from GBTC in particular. Now that it'll be trading at NAV, I think one of the most telling things, given how high their fees are relative to everyone else, will folks take the tax hit, or will they continue to hold? I think Grayscale is betting that people would rather pay the fees than take a tax hit in terms of moving, because you can't just basically move in kind to another ETF. So in order to get out, you would actually have to convert to cash and then back to another ETF. And I think that's a calculated move on Grayscale's part, that their existing clients will not do that, and that DCG actually needs the cash in order to deal with their other woes, which I'm sure Simon can comment on. That's number one. I think number two, the timing is amazing, just given that I don't follow football, but I think we're 3 or 4 weeks away from the Super Bowl. And so I think that the amount of advertising we're going to see related to travel, I would bet significant money that we're going to see a Super Bowl Bitcoin ETF ad, or potentially more than one, which is super interesting. And the other thing is, I think we're looking at Sol, and I guess this directly addresses the question you just asked, Scott. I think we see Sol and ETH as the big winners here, because I don't think that you're going to see huge inflows, to Matt's point, in the very short term. We discussed this, I think, back in November in another town hall, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see a Bitcoin pullback with a rotation into Ethereum and Solana, which I think we were seeing after the fake announcement yesterday. Today a little bit with Ethereum.
Let me just.
So we're clearly looking for big rotations into other L1.
There we go. Okay, so basically, let me summarize that very quickly. It's nothing too different than what we've been discussing. The altcoin season is going to start, so they're saying that there's going to be money funneling out of Bitcoin into Ethereum and Solana, etc., and all of these top altcoins. And Ethereum, well, it may not get the approval for the ETFs as quick as we thought that it would be getting it, simply because of the phrasing that they used in the wording that the SEC chair used in his announcement. So it is possible that Ethereum does end up seeing a pullback. Yes, right now we're breaking out, and we are breaking out very heavily, but I do think that this pump is happening because of the ETF news. I was personally very bullish on it, but after the statement from Gary Gensler himself, they're still seeing Ethereum and other altcoins as unregistered securities. So this may cause the price of Ethereum to potentially see a drop towards the downside. But guys, the Bitcoin ETF is approved. I was just checking through the chat, and yes, it has been approved. The spot ETF has been approved. Bitcoin is not pumping. Bitcoin is staying exactly where it is at $45,000. The next level to watch out is when the ETFs actually become tradable on the market, and this level will be hit. This level will be hit once in the next upcoming hours. It's not going to be during this stream. It will go into tomorrow. And once we do see that, I will be making a video. So again, subscribe, turn on the notification bell to not miss when I make a new upload. And yeah, it's going to be very important, because at that point, it's going to be our final chance to see Bitcoin pumping after we see it tradable on exchanges. Now, just to go through breaking news again, that's basically it, right? It's now over. It's now over. It's over. It's been done, and it's done now, and the ETFs are approved. Happy days. Now it's time to celebrate and see what happens once the Bitcoin ETFs are on the exchanges. Bloomberg expects investors to pour in $4 billion into Bitcoin ETFs the first day they start trading, and $50 billion over the next 2 years. This is crazy. This is a crazy figure. Like, people do not understand how crazy this is. And Bloomberg is saying this because they're also encountering the fact that already existing Bitcoin holders will flood their assets into the ETFs instead of keeping it on spot. And the reason why they do this is because, for example, if BlackRock already has existing clients that have Bitcoin holdings, they will go ahead and ask them kindly to convert it from their spot Bitcoin to the ETF, because it's just like looking out for each other. So if they do BlackRock a favor, BlackRock will do a favor for them also. They just want to gain as much market share as possible, and that will only happen if they gain the most volume, right? And to gain the most volume, they will reach out to already existing customers that have Bitcoin holdings, and they'll ask for them to shift it into the Bitcoin spot ETFs. And that's kind of why they're saying they're expecting like $4 billion, etc. But the reality is that's probably not going to be the case in terms of actual new investors funneling money into the Bitcoin ETFs. It's mostly going to be from people that have been already holding Bitcoin. And it's not going to be from new entrants into the market. And we discussed why that was important in the start of the stream. But hey, look, it is what it is. I think even though, regardless, it's pretty bullish in the macro sense, and eventually it's going to be fine. So we went to the Bitcoin ETF. Instead, we got an intern rebellion. All the interns on Twitter look like they're going crazy. All of the exchange interns. But hey, it's a beautiful moment in crypto, because now we're seeing everyone coming together and we're all working towards this one goal. We've been through times where we had massive FUD in the markets. We've been through it all, and now everybody's just in a unison, and we're fighting together and we're celebrating together, and celebrating this Bitcoin ETF. It's what we've been expecting so far. It's why we pumped from $27,000 all the way to $48,000 from this single news. And yeah, it's just a time to be celebrating and a time to be very, very happy. This must be the most bearish approvals yet. It was Crypto Zaraz is completely right. It was incredibly, incredibly bearish. Like, you couldn't have been more bearish in an ETF approval statement. Like, it was crazy. But hey, at least we have it, right? At least we have the approval. We could have not had the approval as well, and that would have been very, very upsetting. But in the past videos, we said that the chances of the ETF not getting approved was very, very slim, as everybody has been working through the holidays, day and night, trying to submit these ETF approvals. And if they did deny it, then they would have wasted all that time, all that capital of employees that spend their time working on this day and night, from BlackRock, from Fidelity, from Valkyrie, etc. And we talked about that the SEC chair, once he retires from the SEC, he will most likely go and work for one of these corporations. And if he didn't allow this to happen, then he would have wasted a lot of time of these corporations that eventually he would be going to, and that wouldn't have been good for him, in my opinion. After he decides to leave the SEC. So I'm glad it's approved, and that we can just celebrate for. So Chris is saying, buy the rumor, sell the news. Possibly, right? Coming up towards BITO, once we had the BITO launch, Bitcoin topped out. We saw a massive decline. Once we had the CME launch back in 2017, the first ever financial product that enabled institutional investors to gain exposure to Bitcoin, not in the same way that the spot Bitcoin ETFs do at all, but we did see the top at $20,000 almost, and we saw a 70% drop towards the downside. In a relative scale to the uprise, which was 220%, it is nothing, right? But we still did see a dump, and we still did see a top. So just let's see what happens. I'm basically planning on buying Bitcoin if Bitcoin does decide to go cheaper. I have active orders at $38,000, $31,000, and $34,000, but I am going to put my portfolio fully into Bitcoin very, very soon. And that is, I can't wait to do that, because the more you go into Bitcoin, the more you read about it. I definitely recommend reading the Bitcoin Standard if you've not done so already. It gives you a completely new perspective, and it's just incredible, right? So you will definitely feel the same way after you read the Bitcoin Standard. But that's it, right? So CNBC was attacking X. That was pretty funny. 20 hours ago, we were also live streaming. But hey, that's it. It's been approved, and the only thing to be waiting now is to see what's going to happen when they actually go and launch on the exchanges, and when they launch on these exchanges, how much volume are we going to see, and if this volume is sufficient enough, then how much of that volume is from new investors going into Bitcoin. And after we have this data, within, let's say, going into Monday of next week would be the most appropriate time, or by Friday, then we can give a better conclusion. But in summary, This has been a very, very successful past couple of weeks. I've not worked harder in my life. I've been running on adrenaline, pure adrenaline, for the past 2 hours of the stream because I only got 3 hours of sleep. I had one meal today, but hey, I got school tomorrow, and I couldn't have asked for a better gift than this for all of the efforts of the hard work. And thank you to each and every one of you that have been tuning in, smashing out the like button, subscribing. You guys are absolutely fantastic. You guys are my motivation to keep doing these videos and just staying in this space at such a young age. And I have you to thank for that. But we can maybe do some Medieval Empires gameplay. There we go. Let's end it off with a game because I should be checking in here and collecting some of my resources. And they had a very nice update, by the way, that you can, for those, I'm sure most of you played anyways, but you know what, let's do a giveaway. Let's do an SEC, approval giveaway, right? So if you guys go to the Medieval Empires website, create an account, and you can share me your UID in the chat section, and I'll go through it and I'll select 3 winners. Well, I'll invite you 3 winners that I can invite to my land, and we can play Medieval Empires all together. So I think that is a very nice giveaway just for this live stream, for the fact that we got the approvals, and that should be pretty cool indeed for you guys, and we can play Medieval Empires all together. But guys, that's basically that wraps about it. And I just want to say thank you once again. We can check through altcoins one final time. Ethereum is still at $2,500, highest point since the last 21 to 22 months. XRP is seeing a small gain from 57 cents to now almost 60 cents. Bitcoin, let's see GBTC in the post-market, it's at 40.47. And Bitcoin is still within this parabola coming up towards the halving. And a year after the halving, we're expecting Bitcoin to reach all-time highs. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. This has been a banger of a stream. Guys, have a beautiful day. Take care. Just chill out. Watch some Netflix. Calm down. Go for a walk. That's what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be sleeping. And then when I wake up, I'm just going to take it chill. But I'm super happy that now this is all over. We can relax a little bit. I will be missing this. I can't lie. I will be missing this. But guys, you guys are absolutely fantastic. Let's end off the stream with 1,900 likes. We're 3 likes away. 3 likes away. So if you haven't liked the stream yet, and there we go. It's done. It's done. We're at 1,900 likes. You guys are fantastic. Ladies and gents, thank you so much for tagging along. My voice has been going. It's been a lot of talking. It's been very tiring, but thank you so much for bearing with me. Ladies and gents, I will see you all in the next video, hopefully very soon, and in the next live streams as well. Ladies and gents, make sure to follow me on Twitter, join the free Telegram channel. All of it is linked in the description below. If you are looking for a place to be trading Bitcoin or cryptocurrencies, you can also find my top exchanges in the description. But that's it for today, guys. Have a beautiful day. Massive congrats, and I will see you all very soon. Take care, guys, and bye-bye.